This is probably happening.
Come with us, Eve. Come on.
Honest to God, it's wonderful, isn't it?
I've got my pass and there's got a few minutes left.
Okay.
See you later. Have a nice sporty evening.
Back tomorrow.
On Mondays, cast out your lines and be prepared to reel in more than one catch of the day. At 8, get hooked into the joy of angling.
Heaven's opened up, typical of the English summers.
8:30, there's always a tale to tell, plus a piece of good advice in Fisherman's Tales.
Always make sure you wet your knots when you tie 'em.
And what is Andy's angle at 9:30?
Do you want me to take the rod or the net?
Take me hand.
Okay.
It's Angler's Delight on Monday starting at 8 on Wire TV.
Hot Wheels, speed thrills on 2 wheels and 4. Yes, what goes round comes round on Wire TV as we bring you exclusive action from Europe's major track events, including the World Motorcycle Championships. Make sure you're tuned to the hottest coverage on cable. Hot Wheels.
Wire TV's coming to London and we want you. Want to be a TV chef in our cable kitchen? Can you tantalise our taste buds? Then contact us now. Need a new look? Can you convince us why you need a makeover? We're waiting to hear from you. Problems around the house and home? DIY, gardening and pet experts are at hand to give hints and tips. Don't hesitate. Call Live Wire TV ad now or write to us at this address.
It's Sportswire as well, you can see, and this is your menu for this evening's action. Let's have a look. Ice Wars starts us off tonight. Main game tonight, Fife Flyers versus Milton Keynes. Also the highlights of 3 other games, including the Sheffield Steelers against Solihull Barons. You might have seen the Sheffield Steelers being interviewed this afternoon on Afternoon Wire as well. Gaelic games action tonight. Well, it's the big hurling final for you from Croke Park. Limerick versus Offaly. In the studio, Paddy Cowan of the Irish World to have a chat with us about that one. 9 o'clock tonight, Sportswire Live. We meet some champions. They are gold medal winners. They were Women's Commonwealth Fencing Team champions in this studio. A bit of action and a bit of chat. 9:15 tonight is Movie Sport. Tonight we bring you this, which is Trouble on the Terraces, a film all about the hooligan element. After that, it is Elvis in a pair of shades, in a motor car, but the film's called Speedway. And this is the history of baseball, which takes all up to last year before the strike. Then at 9:30 tonight, we have for you Sports World. Lots of football action in there for you. South American football action as well as Portuguese football action. And also just after that, a quick chat with Sid and Eddie. That's Sid Lawrence and Eddie Pillar, 2 men involved in the big Sportswire versus Adigay's cricket match tomorrow at the Oval. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, Italian football. Main game, newly promoted Brescia versus Juventus, plus a roundup of Serie A action as well. But before all that happens, what we have for you now is action from the ice. That's right, time now for Ice Wars.
John McCrone, one of 3 Great Britain netminders who represented his country in Bolzano in Italy without a great deal of success, it must be said. He's one of the best around and he'll lead the line, which also includes a couple of new imports there, Tony Szabo and Josh Boney. Interesting to see how he adapts to British ice hockey at the first time of asking. As for the Milton Keynes Kings, this is untried and untested territory for them in the Premier Division for the first time, and this will be a very big test for some of the new players on the team and of course the established imports McCarthy and Strachan. Referee for the game is Alec McWilliam, and the Milton Keynes Kings in predominantly blue, Fife in their white strip. And straight away it's Mark Morrison working his way back towards goal. Very impressive for Fife in his first season with them last year. Wasn't sure whether he was going to return, but he's back again, and back with a vengeance, they'll hope, in Kirkcaldy. That's Doug McCarthy just setting the play up in front of net. Here comes Fife though, eased out of defence by Alistair Reid. There's been a lot of bumping and barging in this game for sure. Stephen King looking for it in centre ice. That's Tony Szabo, his first meaningful touch for the Fife Flyers. Paddy Scott, very impressive through many years with the Milton Keynes Kings, and another Great Britain representative. Morrison just clearing the zone. He want to be further up the ice than that. There's Stephen King, the reverse pass, hoping somebody's in the way. Tony Szabo, good understanding already it seems between those two. Dumped into the corner. There's Morrison on the chase. King tied up in front of net. McCarthy will clear from deep, but they haven't got it away far enough at the moment. Puck just trapped on the boards. Long range effort coming in from Alistair Reid, moving out of defence. He's got quite a good shot, this boy. He's been around for a few years with Fife. We'll see how accurate it was. Got a deflection, I think, on the way. It did, just off the tip of the stick into the stop netting. Milton Keynes putting a bit of pressure on early on here. Just shown that perhaps they are made of sterner stuff than some might have thought of their first taste of life in the high life of British ice hockey. But here comes Ian Robertson, captain of the Fife Flyers, just wide of range, tries again. That was screaming across for Josh Boney to get into position. He didn't quite do it, but he might set something up now from the corner. Little flip in the direction of goal. There's Craig Wilson waiting for the touch, but here come Milton Keynes now. Here's Doug McCarthy. Just holds it up, held it up a little bit too long that time, and have to go and try and get it back. A little bit of hooking there. Alec William calls that one off. Here's Boney. Takes two Milton Keynes players to take him down to the ice. Now they'll try and turn things around, but Gordon Latto gets it back for Fife. Here's Ian Robertson again. Saw Boney, but he couldn't pick up on it. Good shot though, and good take by Scott O'Connor in the Milton Keynes net. He knows Scottish ice hockey very well, having started his life around these parts. But he was in position, former Peterborough Pirates goalie as well. And he was being screened there as the puck came through. So he did exceptionally well to keep his eye on it and grab it at the second attempt. As Milton Keynes are making most of the running at the moment, is McCarthy. Nobody in the slot waiting for the pass. Lee Powell. McCarthy's not given up on that one yet, nor has Powell, but the clearance will be made by Fife, and they've got a couple of men stretched up the ice. There's Boney. Boney shot off the metalwork, off the pipe, and it comes out fortuitously for Milton Keynes, not so for Fife. Good attempt from an acute angle there by the number 71 for Fife, and this time O'Connor beaten all ends up. Just forcing his way out from behind net. Good play by Morrison, but Morrison again clattered down to the ice by a couple of Milton Keynes players. It's taken that many to get it through. That was just wide of range. Paddy Scott with the shot, and he has got a very good aim, and very accurate too. Here he is back on the puck again. A line change for the Kings. Lee Powell just following it into the corner for Milton Keynes. Here's an opening for the newcomers, and that's good keeping by McCrone. Smothered himself and his body covered just about every inch of the goal possible. Just kept the puck into his body. See how close they came to scoring this time. Good anticipation by McCrone though. Lost his helmet but kept his eye on the puck. And this time Milton Keynes unable to do anything about it. Now a chance for Milton Keynes to break away. Good opportunity opening up in front of net, not taken this time. Trent Casey, smothered again by John McCrone, showing the type of form that's got him the Great Britain #1 berth. Trent Casey, a good sniper, certainly in that sort of position, and made the angle well for himself. There was a sort of penalty shot type situation, took it round, but McCrone was equal to it this time. Casey looking to win the face-off. He doesn't. Fife get it this time through Stephen King. Become the home side, getting a lot of support from 2,500 or so are congregated inside this Kirkcuddy rink. As Tony Szabo. Szabo has support from Morrison if he wants to use him, or Alistair Reid. Doesn't need either of them. It's straight through the Fife hole into the back of the net. And Szabo registers his name on the score sheet for the first time for the Fife Flyers. Getting a good reception from the fans and from Milan Fagala. Well, that beat O'Connor all ends up. Good work, walking it in, gives it full range, beats O'Connor on the short side. 1-0 to the Fife Flyers over the Milton Keynes Kings. And here come the Flyers again. They've still got the bit between their teeth now. Morrison stood up the first time, stood up the second time. Now a bit of argy-bargy going on involving Strachan in front of the net. And Stephen King wants to get his 2 penn'orth worth in as well. Morrison again had 2 players all over him. Got the shot away first time, rebound, sat on the puck, and it was just in behind him. All of a sudden, Fife really taking this game by the scruff of the neck, and into the corner from Zabo for somebody to chase. Again, Morrison. And King is there up as well. Reed. Chance now for Zabo, his second, 5 seconds. The smile even broader this time. Wasn't quite such a perfect effort from him, but he picked up on the loose spoils in front of net, and Fife have a 2-0 advantage. Reed into the slot. King upended, Zabo moving in, and Zabo's finish it was for 2-0. Good anticipation by the number 25 for Fife. In the right place at the right time, which is all you can ask of a forward. O'Connor committed and beaten. Well, I suppose it's the way most people here would have expected it to go. Fife leading by 2-0 over the newly promoted Milton Keynes Kings, but they've shown enough fire and determination to make you believe that they could be a force to be reckoned with. And Bernie McCrone, realising there's problems afoot, just ahead of him, decides to ice the puck. Face-off to the right of his net. Keynes winning most of the face-offs, but not the advantage when it comes to the scoreline. They won this face-off all right. The shot just fired in to the left of Bernie McCrone, but again he was equal to it. Ian Robertson, the captain of the Fife Flyers, trying to win it, but again Milton Keynes winning the majority of the face-offs. Gordon Latto, most experienced player out on the ice. Been around, entering what is almost his 3rd decade of playing ice hockey now for the Fife Flyers. Been a good servant for them and for Great Britain over the years, and trying to win it back there. That's Derek King, a very promising player for the Fife Flyers, who's showing what he's made of now. Craig Wilson. Wilson again with Boney in his sights. Gordon Latto. He just dumps it in. Hoping to get a fortuitous ricochet and rebound. Doesn't work out quite this way that time. And Milton Keynes just happy to clear John McCrone. Bernie, as he's known around these parts. Derek King. There's King. He's got a good bit of acceleration when he wants to use it. Wilson just intercepted before it gets to him by Paddy Scott. He's tied up though and can't move any further, though he's still in the frame if the puck should come loose to him. Here comes Josh Boney. Boney from the hash marks on the point, just moving his way into position. Still has possession. That would be a great goal if it goes in, but it doesn't. Craig Wilson just thwarted by the spread-eagled body of Scott O'Connor. Wilson just gets a bit of a breather. Good effort from him. Good work by Fife in and around the net. Good shot by Wilson. But this time they're stood up by Scott O'Connor. Here comes the man who's caused all the problems so far, Zabo. And once again trying to find the way between the pads of Scott O'Connor and the goal. This time O'Connor a little bit too wise for him on this occasion, but the idea was good and the execution not bad either. And nearly a ricochet. Into the corner for Scott. Now Milton Keynes is going to be careful not to get trapped in the corner like they have done a few times, and then certainly very uncertain and unsure about what to do when the puck's in and around the front of their net. Now they'll be able to clear, but they don't have men in position to make much of this advantage. McCrone, it's not as good perhaps as he would have wanted, but that's far enough out not to cause too many problems. Here come Fife again. Not a two-line pass. Morrison just deflected there off McCarthy, I think it was, as the puck was en route to goal. And now a chance for a turnaround for Milton Keynes Kings. Good pass right onto the stick of Doug McCarthy. Little drop pass. And that's the end of 20 minutes of action at Kirkcaldy. 20 minutes of action. It's been real end-to-end stuff, but the scoreline doesn't reflect that. 2 goals from Tony Szabo, the new import for the Fife Flyers, gives the home side a 2-0 lead at the end of the first period. Join us in part 2.
The football season is almost here, and for the GM Vauxhall Conference, the race is on for the ultimate prize, a place in the Football League. We kick off with a preview of the new season. Friday at 10 o'clock on Wire TV.
Tennis. Legends don't die, they live on. They play on. The 1994 Champions Tour was set up especially for top professionals over the age of 35. But the years hardly dim the talent or sheer appeal of players like these. Top-class play from players in a class of their own. Catch them in New York in the 1994 Champions Tour on Wire TV.
Movie Sport, take 1 and action.
Movie Sport, where the sporting world meets the movie world.
You see, at the end of the day, I get the sack now.
We review the latest sporting films and video releases. Top films. Top sporting action. Movie Sport. Tonight, 9:15 on Wire TV.
Okay, that's a wrap.
The Gaelic Games reaches its climax with the final of the Hurling Championships. It's fast, it's exciting, and it features top action. And these are the teams who are going to have to battle it out to win. The passion will be high with the crowd and players, so anything can happen, and it usually does. Watch the Gaelic Games Senior Hurling Final tonight at 8 on Wire TV.
Period 2 of an intriguing first match at the Kirkcaldy Ice Rink for season 94-95 between the Fife Flyers and the Milton Keynes Kings. 2-0 it is to the home side. A couple of well-taken opportunities by Tony Szabo, who's on the puck now for the Fife Flyers, has put them in the box seat, in the driving seat. There's a long way still to go in this game. Milton Keynes showed last year in Division 1 as the newly promoted team from there. But they have a lot of stamina, and they are a good 60-minute side, so they may not have done too well so far, but there's still chances for them. That's Anthony Payne, newly signed from the Humberside Hawks, moving through the middle for the Kings, who've made a few good acquisitions during the summer to strengthen their squad, as indeed they have to do. 5-2 with some new players. Doug McCarthy. In this match so far, Milton Keynes been winning most of the face-offs. Hasn't done them an awful lot of good so far, but it might later on in the game. Milan Figala has been in and out of British ice hockey for a few years now, and back where he started with the Fife Flyers. Now, can the Kings make something of their early impression on this period? That's McCarthy, just being shrugged off the play by Alistair Reid. He's a big man. It takes an awful lot to get past him. Now, here's Szabo again. Been absolutely razor sharp in this game so far, and that ricochets back off the backboards. No plexiglass at Kirkcaldy, of course. Here's McCarthy. Oh, he should have put that away. Just wanted one touch too many, and that would have been the opening goal for sure for Milton Keynes. Don't know quite how he missed that. I'm not sure that he knows either. There's Morrison. Still bobbling in and around the front of the net. Rick Strachan, the coach, the boss really, I suppose, these days of the Milton Keynes Kings, will be looking at his side after 2 very heavy defeats against Cardiff, the first weekend of action for them, and wondering what he has to do to strengthen his side. But at the moment it's not a big reparation job, just a bit of fine-tuning perhaps for him and his side. Here's Milan Figala, import for the Fife Flyers. Mark Morrison, just got a lethal shot, he wasn't let go. Here Robertson, short side, O'Connor still bobbling around. I think he's got it. Making absolutely certain he's got it. Andy Allen in front of net. Very good performance last year from Morrison. He helped them to win the Scottish Cup against the Murrayfield, now Edinburgh Racers. That was Ian Robertson getting the final shot in, and that's McCrone. Morrison. Back to Reid. For some space in the corner. Good work. His Boney has been a bit quiet of late. But he was instrumental in setting up some of the best moves in the first period. Reid into the corner. There's Robertson. Morrison. Easy as you like, right in front of net, just a couple of feet out, and a player of the calibre and quality of Mark Morrison, who racked up well in excess of 150 points last year, is not going to miss out on an opportunity like that. And the gap is widening still further. Fife take a 3-0 lead, and Morrison says, thank you very much. O'Connor says, where was my defence? There wasn't one. Good anticipation, though, from behind the net. Morrison in the right position. Kings now have a real battle on their hands. Craig Wilson, who had a good opportunity to open his account in the first period. And most of the action once again taking place down the Milton Keynes end of the ice. Bit of defending to do for Fife. Here's Robertson. So looking rather easy for the established side in the Premier Division. There's McCarthy. He knows that he really has to up his work rate in this game to try and get them back with a semblance of a chance of pulling something out of it. Paddy Scott, he's a man who could possibly do it for them. Scott, yes! Sneaks off the pad of Benny McCrone into the bottom right-hand corner. And Patrick Scott, who racked up the stats in his first 2 seasons in British ice hockey, and it's pretty crucial to the promotion chances of Milton Keynes last year. Shows what he can do when given the chance, with a bit of help from the goalie on this occasion. Scott, little deke, 2 players on top of him, but he got the shot away, and it's 3-1 now to the Fife Flyers. Strachan looking for it, Paddy Scott. Shot comes in, which I think McCrone was totally happy with. I think he wanted his defence to decide what they wanted to do with that one. But now perhaps a little bit of life to be shown from the Milton Keynes Kings, who really have been behind the 8 ball all the way through the game. Here's the man who's impressed so far, Tony Szabo, is going to impress again! Great finish by the import. 3 out of 4 for the number 25, and he is making a lightning start to his career with the Fife Flyers. What a good finish. You won't see any better in British ice hockey. Took it from inside his own half of the ice. What a lovely finish. And absolutely nothing Scott O'Connor could do about that. The victory roll to add to his celebrations as well. He's going to be a name to watch out for in British ice hockey over the next 7 months. Well, they certainly know now, when they next play each other, who are the men to watch out for, and Milton Keynes Kings will not need to do any homework on Tony Szabo. He's on the puck again. In fact, he seems to be everywhere. Rick Strachan trying to hold him off the play. It's up to the boss to try and do the best he can to keep him away from the action, but he's there again. Szabo. What an impressive debut. Very often it takes imports a little while to adjust to playing the game, certainly the amount of ice time they have to log. But he's having no such problems in this game so far. Here's Howard. Howard in a battle. Anthony Payne just holding his man off the play. Referee Alec McWilliams says that's perfectly legitimate. Continue with the play. The crowd don't like it very much, but he's the man with the whistle. Here the man who will make the decision, Derek King, in the direction of Morrison. He's been rather overshadowed by Szabo in this game, but he's had a pretty good game as well. There's Doug McCarthy. So Fife Flyers defence pretty stoic, and they're not letting anything through at this stage. McCarthy, now the turnaround though. And here's Bonney, Josh Bonney, following it into the corner. He hasn't given up on that yet. Mike Kindred. Rather awkward skating style of the former Medway Bear, but he's very effective, but not too much down that end of the ice. Milton Keynes Kings return to full strength. Lee Powell out of the box. He'll try and get straight away into the action, trying to feed McCarthy. Kindred, there's the shot, there's the goal that they really did need, and Paddy Scott again is the man who finds the target. Paddy Scott reduces the arrears to 4-2, and the travelling band from the South Midlands are happy with that effort. Kindred setting him up. Paddy Scott with Bernie McCrone tumbling on the ice. Bit more of a game now, 4-2 to the Fife Flyers over the Milton Keynes Kings. Just a slight turnabout in this game back. Zabo, everywhere that man is, there's danger for Milton Keynes. They try and bring it away. Trying to intercept, there was Lee Powell, he can't. Reed has it again. King, Morrison. It's a nasty one for O'Connor to have to deal with. Did deal with that pretty well. Shot ranging in from McCarthy. Still a chance, Kindred. Puck's under there somewhere. It's under the body of Bernie McCrone. Despite the close attention of about 4 or 5 players, that's where it's going to remain. How close does that come to sneaking in? We'll have a look on the replay and see. No, he still has it, and it's under there somewhere. King. He'll move forward now with Morrison. Morrison just inside his own half of the ice. Milton Keynes playing from right to left with Scott. Chance for the opening perhaps there for McCarthy. Can't get the shot away. Well, not in the direction that he was looking for anyway. Here's Scott again. The only man who's really caused Fife any problems. McCarthy moving to position. Here's King. Morrison going forward. Morrison with Zabo. Little drop pass to the new import. Already scored 3 tonight, looking for more. What's been a very impressive first game for him. That could have gone absolutely anywhere. Scott O'Connor changed the position of his body about 3 or 4 times as that puck came hurtling towards him. Trapped up in centre ice, and Morrison has it. Feeds it to Reed. Reed shot well on the deck. Dealt with okay by O'Connor. Put himself in good position this time. Patrick Scott tries to bring the puck away for the Milton Keynes Kings, but only 50-50 bounces are going the way of the Fife Flyers. Here's McCarthy. McCarthy will try and feed Scott. There is Scott. He couldn't get the shot away in the direction he wanted because he was pulled off his stride there by good goaltending by Bernie McCrone. Zabo. He's got a lot of pace behind that shot, not the accuracy this time, but certainly Scott O'Connor knew there was something heading his way off the stick of the import. Lee Powell hasn't given up on that puck yet. He's given it to Scott. Scott, great opportunity opening up. They can't finish it. Scott still has it. Powell is still there. This really should have been Milton Keynes bearing it, but as it was, they contrived to miss it somehow. And again, a sliding stop by McCrone. Andy Allen loses out this time. Here's Ian Robertson, captain of the Fife Flyers. Is he going to take it all the way himself? Oh, he laid it on the plate. But it wasn't taken. How? Long-range effort from Trent Casey. Oh, where's it gone? Nobody knew. Just sort of popped out nowhere. And that's the sort of puck that the goalies hate. And another one. And McCrone is just about keeping them at bay. How? I don't know. I think it's more luck than judgment that the puck stayed out of the net, but it has. Robertson on the chase now. It's got Rick Strachan for company. Laid back into the path of Robertson, looking for it. He'll be set up again in the slot if he can move there. Fife again just controlling the play in and around the Milton Keynes zone. Robertson again on the chase. We'll have Andy Allen for company all the way. Allen just pushes him off the play. Open out in front. Well, it's slid there by a combination of body and stick by Josh Bonney. Another big wide smile from a new arrival here in Kirkcaldy. And, well, in fact, it didn't get a touch. It just went round the pads of Scott O'Connor in the end. But it counts nonetheless. And again, there's a bit of a gap opening up between these two teams with that goal from Josh Bonney. 5-2 Flyers. over the Kings. Now they're resorting to long-range efforts, the end of the second period. And we'll have more ice hockey action for you from Kirkcaldy in part 3.
Take a trip down the time tunnel on Wire TV. We're talking boxing, and through September we're featuring Marvin Hagler in top form, battling for supremacy against some top opposition. Catch Marvin Hagler in action in our Superbout series The Time Tunnel, starting Sunday at 10 on Wire TV.
I used to feel blue. Then suddenly I knew that Hooked on Wire was coming straight to you. I'm hooked. So hooked. Mondays at 8 on Wire.
Like to Baywatch? Like to get wet when the surf's up? Want to know what's hot and happening on the British beach? Then watch the wet stuff. There's news and views, surfing styles, and the exclusive Wavelength Surf Report. It's wild. It's wicked.
Cut that out.
It's the wet stuff. Saturday at 8:30, only on Wire TV.
Italian football. Serie A, the premiership of Italian football, is on Wire TV. Some of the world's best players are in action. See highlights from the weekend action, plus all the goals scored in the Serie A League. Italian football, tonight at 10 on Wire TV.
Experience over, perhaps a little bit of naivety is showing on the scoreboard. 5-2 to the Fife Flyers over the Milton Keynes Kings, and the new boys finding out just what life is like at the top level. It's tough, and they've got a bit of work to do, but certainly a bit more impressive than they were in their opening 2 games against the Cardiff Devils. But Fife at the moment very much in command, and it's they who are playing from right to left in their predominantly white and just about all blue with a little bit of yellow. It's the Milton Keynes Kings. A meteoric rise to the top there. They've only been going for a few years now, formed in the late 80s, whereas Fife have been around since the 1930s. Not with this team, of course, though Gordon Latto, Mike Feed, has been around for about as long as that. Trent Casey has been pretty invisible in this game so far for Milton Keynes, trying to feed Lee Powell. It's bobbling around, could go anywhere, and did go anywhere, and went just where they precisely wanted it to go, in the back of the net. Trent Casey will claim it. Only he can know how it got there. The replay will hopefully unravel the mystery for us, because it was certainly bobbling around. Casey on the turn, and well, that completely fooled the Fife Flyers keeper, John McCrone, as well. Good work by Casey. 5-3 Flyers and the Milton Keynes Kings, who have a bit of work to do to drag this game back into their possession. But they're within range again now. McCarthy battling around the boards. Good opportunity opening up from Zabo again in front of net. Look for danger, you'll find him there. And there he was from pinpoint range again, but this time O'Connor had it covered. A fast-moving game there, because it's the first of the new season, and players, after a few months off, just trying to get back into some semblance of the action and the form that they were showing at the end of last year. But an impressive debut for both sides, really, in terms of what we're seeing on Ice Wars. Into the corner goes the puck. The chase is on, and Morrison will get there just before Allen, who's not going to give up on that. He's a big man. He's just smothering Morrison all the way. Zabo. Good battle going on. Robertson upends his man, but Milton Keynes come away with it, so the referee chooses to ignore it. Here's Strachan, the coach, and the pivotal man in the side for the Milton Keynes Kings. McCarthy, another stalwart of Milton Keynes, but he's unable to do anything. And a few frayed edges at the moment. A few loose ends need to be tied up for Milton Keynes before they really get their season on track. Now here's a chance for the captain. See if he can do it. Oh, the net comes flying off its moorings. And there was a chance, pretty good chance too, for Doug McCarthy there. Milton Keynes not exactly smothering the net, but taking their time to advance towards John McCrone. It's back on halfway. It's Mike O'Connor, the Milton Keynes version, not the Sheffield Steelers version. Here's a great chance for conversion, and it's taken. And taken with some aplomb too by captain Ian Robertson. Well, he knows where the net is. He's been doing it for long enough. He's come through the Fife programme. He's been in Kirkcaldy for many years now. And whenever an opportunity opens up and he can sniff it, he'll be there. And that one under the arm of Scott O'Connor. 6-3 Flyers. Rick Strachan trying to restore the gap to 2. And he'll set Doug McCarthy on his way. Good hip check there by Milan Fagala, which really must have taken the wind out of the Milton Keynes number 2. So much so I think he's gone to the bench for a line change. So Strachan will have to set it all up from behind his own net with support from Andy Allen. Paddy Scott has been kept pretty quiet by Fife, who looked very impressive going forward. Looked pretty tight at the back as well. Morrison. There's King. Allen once again holding him off the play. The battle will be resumed at the back of the net. But Milton Keynes have it this time. Here's McCarthy. Great opportunity opening up. Howard was moving into position but couldn't get it away. Now Zabo. Morrison. That was just at the right height for Scott O'Connor. Getting himself in behind the puck. And this time, Stephen King doesn't quite get it where he wants it. It's been a real battle for Milton Keynes, this first game for them, but they'll be all the better for this experience. It's something to take into their B&H Cup campaign, which starts in earnest next weekend. Allen. Lambert. New growth of beard from Dale Lambert with his new team this year. Paddy Scott. All a bit hit and hope though from the Milton Keynes Kings. No icing call. And the Kings will have to set it up from behind their own net again with Trent Casey. Scored the opening goal of this period. Haven't seen much of him since. Long range effort just testing out Bernie McCrone. It's Derek King in the corner. McCarthy. Chase back now for Andy Allen. Going to cover the full length of the ice. Has to look behind him to make sure there's no danger from anybody in a white shirt. It's okay this time. He'll continue the play up the ice. Bouncing it off the boards. Not a very fortuitous bounce from McCarthy this time. Goes quite fortuitously back to Gordon Latto, who's held off the play by Kindred. Might come out well for Milton Keynes this time. Again, good defence by the Fife Flyers, who've been very quick to seize upon anything around the front of their net. That was Josh Body. It's just waiting there for somebody to get the final touch. And from the Milton Keynes point of view, it's just as well it was a player in blue that got there first, because it's agonisingly just hovering over the line. Didn't go over, but was spinning out a bit. Dumped into the corner by Trent Casey. Helped on its way by Figala. This is Morrison again, Mark Morrison, no relation to Scott Morrison, who's now plying his trade back with the Humberside Hawks. His former Humberside Hawks player on the puck just then, Anthony Payne. Stephen King. Now the tempo of the game really has slowed down a great deal, as Fife know they've got this one well and truly wrapped up now. The onus is on Milton Keynes to make a fight of it. McCarthy. Chase on for Casey. Now here's an opportunity for Milton Keynes to do something, but every time there's a player moving forward, there's 1, 2, and in that case 3 Fife Flyers in close proximity. Dale Lambert. Part of the Great Britain setup last year. Gordon Lasso just clearing his lines, but not for very long. Here's a great chance, and it would have been for Anthony Payne. Still nobody wants to get hold of it. Shot ranges through. Payne was still hovering around there, but there's an injury to Bernie McCrone, who's underneath Milan Figala there. I think it was just a collision. We'll see from the replay there. Yes, he just got caught by the stick and fell rather awkwardly. I think he'll be okay. Probably just had the wind taken out of him. There's a smile on Bernie's face. He'll be okay. It's made of stern stuff. Fife again through Ian Robertson, the captain. Robertson still bobbling around. Could be anybody's good chance for Dingwall. Richard Dingwall getting one of his first shifts of the game. Away come Milton Keynes. That was nice play. Very nice play by McCarthy. He's got a lot of work to do all by himself. He might just do that though. Looking for the wraparound. Nearly one touch too many that time. Kindred. Back again to the captain. With the puck skewing away from the goal and away from the sticks of the Milton Keynes Kings. It has to be set up again by Andy Allen. Chases on for Trent Casey. Just wheels around the back of the net. Just hanging on in there in case there's a chance of picking up a steal. Morrison. Give that a lot of force. It's in. And Morrison, after being thwarted at the first attempt, wasn't going to be denied a second time. Shot got deflected. He picked it up again, brought it into his body. And that's as interpreted as you like, into the bottom right-hand corner. Good finish by Morrison. He's a classy finisher, and there's the evidence.
Less than 2 minutes of the game remaining. Number 2 in the Flyers, Delante Hala, receives a 2-minute penalty for hooking.
Fife Flyers well in command now, but that's a good effort by Doug McCarthy. It's all ebbing away, the chances of anything happening for Milton Keynes now. That's Strachan with his hair flying. Is McCarthy. Back he comes to the effort for Mike Kindred. There's Kindred in the corner. Back to the point it comes, McCarthy. Set up, and Milton Keynes have one back in the dying seconds. Paddy Scott has got a few words to exchange with the Fife Flyers players. That may well continue after this match is finished. But at the moment, the final word will go to Patrick Scott. Now, referee Alec McWilliam didn't like what he saw there and is going to banish a couple of players to the box.
First guy still in. Okay, and how much time's he got on his penalty? First guy.
Oh, we'll get more of an idea of perhaps what happened there. That's McCarthy, the puck finding its way through via the stick of Paddy Scott. Long range effort, there's Kindred, the puck in the net, the goal off its moorings. Referee will now have to decide in what order of sequence that happened. Was the puck in before the net went off its moorings? Referee says yes. Last couple of minutes, probably more action we've seen in the whole of the third period, being encapsulated into the last 120 seconds. Here's been the man of the match, Tony Szabo, who gets an elbow from Trent Casey. Referee didn't see it, or else he would have called it, I'm sure. Simon Howard just clearing his lines. Chris Anderson Last few seconds of the game now, and that's the final whistle, which signifies Fife off to a winning start at home for this season, and an emphatic victory it turned out to be against the newcomers to the Premier Division. Fife Flyers have beaten the Milton Keynes Kings 7-4. We'll get reaction from both camps after the break.
Do you get the picture? He's young, he's talented, he's British. In September he defends his title. The fight will be shown live and exclusive. Have you got the picture? If you're not watching Wire TV, you won't get the picture. On the 24th of September, Lennox Lewis versus Oliver McCall. Live and exclusive, only on Wire TV. Now you've got the picture.
Follow the 1994 PPG IndyCar World Series on Wire TV. The speed, the success, the celebrations. Hold on for a fast ride when we bring you great and gripping highlights. The 1994 PPG IndyCar World Series, Saturday at 9 on Wire TV.
Sportswire is knockout in September. The up-and-coming boxing stars of tomorrow return in Wire TV's own Pro Box Golden Gloves. He's bad and he's British. The mighty Lennox Lewis defends his WBC title against Oliver McCall. Sit live and exclusive on Wire TV. The punches are flying as Wire TV screens both the All-Ireland hurling and football finals. And we get cue for action as the new kids on the bays pull all the punches in the snooker world. The GM Vauxhall Conference kicks off its season and you can see a live game every week. Spectacular goals and bruising tackles as the Italian Serie A League gets underway. And with a new season of Ice Wars, the latest action from the IndyCar, and vintage boxing action from Time Tunnel, Wire TV really packs a punch in September.
So, an entertaining start to the season's ice hockey in Kirkcaldy. Milton Keynes, it seems, still have a bit of work to do to adjust to life at the top level. Fife looking like they must be challenging for one of the top spots this season. Flyers captain Ian Robertson, who's been with the Fife club for over a decade, gave his views on the home side's performance in the curtain raiser to the new campaign.
It was quite hard, but we're glad to get the win, and first game of the season, it's always one of the most important ones, so it's a good 2 points and it's a good start.
Rick Strachan, boss of the Milton Keynes Kings, was not as discouraged as he had been following 2 heavy defeats by the Cardiff Devils the weekend before.
Well, we're disappointed with the the result. A loss is a loss, but I saw a lot of good things out there as my hockey club. It was a tough day for us traveling all day and coming here, but I see some real positive things, and I think we'll hold our own in this league.
Now on to the first competitive match between one of the former big teams in the Premier Division, the Solihull Barons, and the most supported and fastest growing team, the Sheffield Steelers. Steelers without import Ron Shudra due to arrive later in the week, and Solihull icing former Sheffield favourite Neil Abel. First blood to Barons, showing how to turn defence into attack quickly and successfully. Richard Henry moving out from behind his own goal, finding new signing reclassified Dan Prater in space, thwarted first off by the legs of Andy Havenhand, but it's dead-eyed Dan at the second attempt with a good victory roll too. Retribution was swift for the Steelers, something that the Sheffield Steelers fans hope to see more of. The Handy-Jackson combination, they both seem to have lots of time to open up the Barons' defence, Handy making the angle for the telling shot. Here's another aspect of Jackson's game that even at this early stage may be striking terror into the defences of opposing teams. Just watch how he accelerates with a modicum of effort from his own end of the ice to convert Steelers' number 2 of the evening. A goal coming up that Dampier and co won't want to see again. It started and finished by Ian Pound, but the Steelers defencemen get themselves in an indecisive mood, and the home side capitalise on the dithering with keeper Havenhand left exposed. Into the second period, after this rasping shot from Luke Chabot, it's time for Jackson to take command again. Supplied by Handy, he guides past two almost static Barons defencemen for a finish of real precision to make it 3-2 to the Steelers. The supporting play on the Steelers' fourth goal comes from two of the British players. Alan Haig, who initially gave the check on the boards, gets back in position to recover the puck. Les Milley is the feed man behind the net. On hand is Handy for that close-range effort. Barron's third, a bizarre finish to a well-worked move, though the visitors might not agree. Seemingly ready to pounce again, the Steelers give it away through Mark Wright. Neil Abel becomes gamekeeper turned poacher, finds Steve Chartrand, who can't complete the job himself, but gives it to someone who can, Luke Chabot. But it's Scott Neal's skate that obligingly finishes it off. Into the third period, it's now 5-4 Steelers, 3 minutes to go. Solihull with a man advantage and lots of work still to do when this move starts, but the conditioning and stamina now perhaps telling for both sides. Despite an assault on both goals in the last few minutes and some skillful footwork by Neil Abel, that's how they remained, locked together until the very end. Honours even. 5-5, an entertaining evening for the crowd at Hobbs Moat Road, and a good debut for Steelers import Paul Jackson.
That wasn't too bad. It was a great crowd tonight. Their team played really well, and we came out. We're just gelling together now, and things will get better as the season goes on.
A hat-trick for yourself, short-handed as well, one of them. You must be pleased personally on a personal level.
Well, yeah, it was a good game. I mean, it was a tie game. I'm still a little tired and, not in the shape I should be in, I guess, and hopefully things come along during the season.
Swindon Wildcats and Medway Bears will be hoping for several good scraps before the season's out, but this was their first meeting in Division 1 at the Link Centre, Swindon. Bears in the black and orange strip struck first through Derek Switzer. Two minutes into the match and Swindon struck back. Ian Richards is the player who collects the bullet in centre ice. Alan Bishop, the man who fires it past the stranded Russ Jackson. Good forechecking here by Medway brought their deserved reward. Not immediately. Mark Mackey can't put the puck home, but Sean Clement can to make it 2-1 eventually. But not for long. A sweeping move by Carl Galloway with just a hint of a two-line pass found another new signing, Steve Moria, perfectly placed to finish it off. Swindon edged in front for the first time in the 13th minute. That man Moria was on hand again, getting a hand from Sean McFadden en route from Darryl Lipsey. Moving into the third period, 6-4 to the Wildcats became 7-4. No prizes for guessing who was right in the middle of the action, in the right place at the right time. And despite the bobble in front of net, the finish from Steve Moria. Bears fans, avert your eyes because here comes more of the same from the man from British Columbia. New arrive from Blackburn, but looks like he's been playing with Swindon all his life. They seek him here, they seek him there. He seems to be just about everywhere, even in the fog. Just when Medway don't want him to be there, he is there, popping up again. Another goal for Mo. Medway's number 19, Dean Switzer, wants his piece of the action too. Out of my way, I'm doing this all by myself, and he does just that. All the way down the ice to to make it 13-6 to Swindon. The final goal of 20 to the home side, and no, not what you might expect or who you might expect this time, though he was involved in the build-up. It's Lipsy, Moria and Brian Larkin with the finish. 14-6 to Swindon, a good night's work for new import Kyle Galloway with 3 goals and several assists.
I think you're just going to see more nights like this where guys like Mo fill the net and Lipper had a couple. And hey, when guys like me get 2 goals, there's something going right on the ice. So watch for big things this year.
Okay, and the biggest thing of all, the Premier Division, is that a reality?
Oh, definitely. I think so. We played Cardiff and we played Basingstoke out of the Premier, and we did well with Cardiff. We got blown out the one game, but it wasn't an 11-2 game, and we beat them one night too, so we're right in there. We played 4-4 game with Basingstoke, so you never know. Hey, at the end of the year, we're going to be up there fighting for that those 2 spots to move up, and I would look for us to be in the Premier next year.
Is that a yes or a no?
That's a definite yes.
One of the teams expected to be contesting major honours this year is the Sheffield Steelers, second in the league in the last campaign and runners-up at Wembley. The Steelers have just secured a major sponsorship from McEwen's Lager. There have been a lot of changes in personnel for the new season. Alex Dampier is the coach of the Sheffield Steelers, who also doubles as the GB coach. He outlines the ins and outs.
The initial changes we really had to make was on defence. We felt last year we didn't have enough depth. Losing Selmar was a real blow. So we had to try to replace. Now we got Rob Wilson in, who's our passport holder. Rob's a big kid, and I think he's going to he's very much like a Ron Shudra. We added Mike O'Connor, who's British, and we added Perry Doyle. So that's given us 4 solid defensemen, and plus it gives us Ron Shudra, who can play forward and defense. So we've got a lot of strength in D right now, which is what we needed. And up front, we went with Handy and Jackson, mainly because they're a natural pairing. They played together last year, and as opposed to normally we go with an import from somewhere and an import from somewhere else, and it takes a while to learn to play with each other. These 2 guys have already had a year together, and they put up some real big numbers in the Central League last year. So hopefully they can start doing that right away, and that hopefully will give us a real kickstart to the season.
For Ron Handy, it's his first taste of British hockey, and he feels it'll be his kind of game.
It seems to fit my mold. I'm not much of a physical guy out there. I like to set up goals and score goals myself, and I was always taught by my mom, who was my coach when I was younger, that you can't score goals when you're in the penalty box. So I stayed out of the penalty box and scored goals. I think that's the best way to hurt the opposition, is to put the puck in the net.
The B&H Cup started its long haul towards the final in Sheffield in December. And here are the results from this weekend. Starting on Saturday, Basingstoke Beavers 9, Bracknell Bees 6, Fife Flyers 10, Paisley Pirates 4, Milton Keynes Kings 11, Peterborough Pirates 8, Nottingham Panthers 18, Romford Raiders 2, Slough Jets 7, Cardiff Devils 4, Teesside Bombers 13, Blackburn Hawks 4, Telford Tigers 8, Humberside Hawks 4, Trafford Metros 7, Durham Wasps 9. And on Sunday, Blackburn Hawks 3, Edinburgh Racers 8, Bracknell Bees 5, Medway Bears 3, Cardiff Devils 6, Basingstoke Beavers 6, Durham Wasps 17, Whitley Warriors 0, Humberside Hawks 13, Trafford Metros 1, Paisley Pirates 11, Teesside Bombers 8, Peterborough Pirates 5, Nottingham Panthers 12, and Romford Raiders 0, Sheffield Steelers 19. And if that's been your first taste of ice hockey, we hope you've enjoyed it. And there's plenty more where that came from in next week's Ice Wars GB. Join us at the same time for the best of the action from the ever-growing sport of ice hockey in Great Britain.
Oh yes, plenty of stick for you this evening here on Sportswire. There's your Ice Wars, and after the break we bring you the hurling final from Croke Park, and in the studio with me, Paddy Cowan of Irish World newspaper is here to chat about it. Good evening, Paddy.
Good evening, Mark.
Nice to see you here. Now we've got Limerick versus Offaly, and the interesting thing is we're just chatting.
Serie A, the Premiership of Italian football, is on Wire TV. Some of the world's best players are in action. See highlights from the weekend action. Plus all the goals scored in the Serie A League. Italian football, Monday at 10 on Wire TV.
Like to Baywatch? Like to get wet when the surf's up? Want to know what's hot and happening on the British beach? Then watch the wet stuff. There's news and views, surfing styles, and the exclusive wavelength surf report. It's wild. It's wicked.
Cut that out.
It's the wet stuff. Saturday at 8:30, only on Wire TV.
Well, there you go. Hot stuff on the football pitch. And as I say, apparently there was an absolute storming Bath goal at the weekend. And apparently Tony's got that on videotape. With a bit of luck, we can nick that off him and show you it next week. Overhead kick from outside the box, would you believe? We'll see that next week. I know, classy stuff, innit, if you get to see it. Apparently Newcastle managed to win themselves 5-0, I'm given to understand, against Antwerp. But Blackburn lost. Let you know about that exactly later on. But before now, time for action on the ice. Time for some ice hockey. British style, we bring you Ice Wars.
Welcome to the second in Wire TV's series of programmes highlighting the best in domestic ice hockey, Ice Wars GB. Today we look at two of the newer teams in the Premier Division as the Basingstoke Beavers take on the newly promoted Milton Keynes Kings. We've Division 1 action featuring the Guildford Flames and the Lee Valley Lions at the Spectrum. And another chance to see the strongly fancied promotion-chasing Swindon Wildcats take on the Chelmsford Chieftains. But first we're off to Basingstoke to watch two of Britain's most attractive hockey sides, the Beavers and the Kings. Commentary comes from Bob Ballard.
This is a match that holds great promise for the spectators here and for you watching this programme, because both sides play very attractive ice hockey and they have some notable names who really can turn the game in the blink of an eye. The Milton Keynes Kings, newly promoted to the Premier Division, have some notable names to watch out for. Number 10, Patrick Scott's bound to have a great influence on this game. So too, number 15, Anthony Payne, newly arrived from the Humberside Hawks. Basingstoke Beavers in their third season in the Premier Division. They have Kevin Conway from the Great Britain team, Russ Perrault, import last year, and two new imports in Stan Marple, number 2, and 15, Chris Brandt. The referee for this game is an American, Ken Taggart, who's been in Britain for many years, played with the Nottingham Panthers as a player in the early 80s, but took to being a stripey soon after he gave up that job. Milton Keynes Kings playing from left to right in blue, and the Basingstoke Beavers in the strip that's become familiar. That's orange and black outfit. Very evenly matched teams here. Dale Lambert, that is, just looking for the puck for the Milton Keynes Kings. Back go Basingstoke's defence as Ken Taggart just getting a breather early on in the game. Face off with Patrick Scott trying to win it for the Kings. Here comes Russ Perrault for the Basingstoke Beavers. He'll just dump it down the ice. The chase is on. Kings certainly have quite a long bench, a lot of depth too. Trent Casey play out wide to the left wing so somebody can force their way into the position. Doug McCarthy battling for it for the Kings, tight on the boards, but Basingstoke giving them little room for manoeuvre. Bit of room opening up on the right-hand side of the ice, though. Patrick Scott gets it back to Casey. Casey just testing out the goal for the first time this evening, but Basingstoke's defence holding strong. As Scott working it back towards the blue line. There's a chance for the instantly recognisable Chris Brandt with that long hair trailing out behind the back of his helmet. Clearance made from behind the back of the net by the Milton Keynes Kings netminder. That's Scott O'Connor. Comes Doug McCarthy, the captain of the Milton Keynes Kings. Ramonas, they who are making all the pressure. Mike Kindred came through the Medway Bears program, has been with Milton Keynes for 3 seasons now. Here's McCarthy. All centred around centre ice, just testing out the netminder. Tonight's Mark Dowd for the Basingstoke Beavers. Trapped up in their skates, but clearance made this time over the blue line, so they're going to have to regroup. As soon as the puck comes outside the blue line, then everybody has to depart if they want to start the move. The opposing offensive players, that is. Chase on for Rick Strachan, the player coach of the Milton Keynes Kings. In a bit of room now as Anthony Payne just moving into the slot. Back it comes again to Kindred. Shot coming in on range. There's Strachan. Couldn't find anybody in a blue shirt this time. The clearance be made by Basingstoke. Nearly fell fortuitously for Mike Wagstaff, the reclassified player for the Basingstoke Beavers. Here they come again. Work his way through centre ice. It's Pickles looking for Chris Brandt. Brandt showed himself to be very keen in the early stage of this game. Now Kindred. Cutting across to right wing. Needs some support to arrive. It's getting belatedly there from Perkins on the boards. Trent Casey. Now Kindred in good position, but nobody could get the puck to him, and Basingstoke will start to break. And they've got a man advantage going forward. There's Conway just holding it up. The shot easily smothered in the end, though, by Scott O'Connor. Just falling to his left. The first real test of the night from the shot from the new import from Basingstoke, Stan Marple, defenseman, but proving early on in this game, for those who haven't seen him before, that he's got a pretty good shot, knows where the target is. Even though it seemed to be going slightly wide, Scott O'Connor was there. Kings having to break out of defence, something they haven't had to do too often in this game so far. Here's Marple. Chase forward for Trent Casey. Needs some support to arrive in front of net. That one just testing out Mark Dowd. Got, again, pretty good cover from his defence. Face-off to that part of the ice, very crucial. It's Basingstoke who win it this time. Slow, steady build-up. Just trying to see who is where, not trying to get themselves caught in centre ice. It's exactly what has happened in the end. Perkins, former Nottingham Panthers player, just playing it around the boards. He'll chase in to try and put them under pressure, but Basingstoke at the moment just easing their way out of trouble. There's Kindred. Get the return pass back on right wing, just played along the boards. Now a good chance opening up for the Milton Keynes Kings. Deflected this time, nobody there for the follow-up. Tony Redmond will look to clear for the Basingstoke Beavers. He does. Gets it through to Perron. Perron tries to guide it through, gives it to Brandt. Brandt has nowhere to go and nobody to give it to, so just decides to hold it up. Perron, long-range effort. 3 blue shirts in the way. Conway trying to work his way into net. Nearly successful this time, but couldn't quite get there. Brandt. On the turn, finds the target, the first goal, and it's Russ Perron who finds the target. Perron on the turn, just eludes Scott O'Connor into the bottom right-hand corner of the net. And the home crowd, with Match of the Day theme ringing in their ears, have something to celebrate. Very tight first period. Very little to choose between the two sides. If anything, Milton Keynes have had most of the possession, but don't show on the scoreboard at the moment. That was Anthony Payne just trying to do a little dummy. He's going to get it back again. Trying to work it out in front of net. And the final touch comes in, and the final poke home. I think Paddy Scott was the man who got the touch. Indeed he did. Patrick Scott levels things up. No more than Milton Keynes really deserve, and some good work behind the back of the net from Anthony Payne. There it was in the slot, kicked out, but Paddy Scott poaching around in front of the goal crease and getting it just under the body of the goalie. Beavers won, Kings won. That reflects the game, though Milton Keynes really had most of the play and have been causing most of the problems. Perhaps they're back where they deserve now, certainly back on level terms. The chase is on. Good opening, well taken by Chris Brandt too. They were left exposed, cut asunder, and there was Brandt arriving. It's going to be a very familiar sight in British ice hockey this season. And certainly that boy has wheels when he wants to go too. Just a little bit of room opening up for him, and that's the sort of shot that imports should put away. 99 times out of 100. No problem for Brent this time. Good control, good balance, good finish. So the home side back in front. It's the delight of a big crowd here. There's Brandt again. He's everywhere at the moment. We don't really know how to handle him at the moment, and Andy Allen's the man who's trying to manhandle him off the puck. Work his way into net, Russ Perron. Brandt, one was well wide of the target. It might turn around for Milton Keynes' advantage. Todd Campbell just trying to help out behind net with Rick Strachan, the player coach. Perron tries to slide it all on the ice. Brandt. Still a chance, still another chance. Thwarted this time by Scott O'Connor at the near post. And a bit of desperation clearance from Milton Keynes Kings. They've lost possession again. Brandt. Still Brandt. A bit too casual on the puck this time. Has given Milton Keynes a chance to turn things around. Paddy Scott. Drop pass to Trent Casey. Scott was waiting for him to return the compliment in kind. Perkins. Still a chance, but straight onto the stick of the Basingstoke Beavers. Casual there again, though. Both sides looked a little bit rickety on defence when they've been put under a lot of pressure. And he threw some heroic saves in the first period that the goalies have kept some lower score, but that's the conversion this time made by Anthony Payne. We said at the beginning of the game he could be quite instrumental in keeping the Milton Keynes Kings in this game. And Anthony Payne, one of the best products of the Durham Wasps junior system, went to Humberside and now with Milton Keynes. He's quite ferocious with that newly grown beard, gets the shot away, and it's level at twos again. So over a minute to go in this first period.
We're now into the final minute, first period. Final minute, first period.
Forcing his way forward, Russ Perron again. There's a lot of firepower on both sides, and they certainly don't lack for acceleration when needs be. Now, right in front of net, almost planted on the stick of Tony Redmond. Kevin Conway involved in the move. Unselfish too, because he could have taken it himself if he'd wanted to, but he saw Tony Redmond, and Tony Redmond, from an acute angle, manages to wrap it in. Conway claiming the touch, I think, perhaps, but I think we'll see on the replay that it just went in via that stick. No, a little bit of help pass from Conway, but it's given to Redmond as the goal. 3-2 Beavers. That's really got the crowd stoked up. Perron's going to have one last effort in this period. Testing out Scott O'Connor, doesn't let it through this time, but his opposite number will be happy with the first period. Beavers lead 3-2.
Tennis. Legends don't die, they live on, they play on. The 1994 Champions Tour was set up especially for top professionals over the age of 35. But the years hardly dim the talent or sheer appeal of players like these. Top-class play from players in a class of their own. Catch them New York in the 1994 Champions Tour on Wire TV. Take a trip down the time tunnel on Wire TV. We're talking boxing, and through September we're featuring Marvin Hagler in top form, battling for supremacy against some top opposition. Catch Marvin Hagler in action in our Superbout series The Time Tunnel, starting Sunday at 10 on Wire TV.
From Africa to Australia, canoeing to motor racing, Sports World will have it covered. for the latest in global sports news. Sports World, Thursday, 9:30 on Wire TV.
I just wish somebody in the stupid house had time for me. Just for me.
Sometimes what you wish for isn't exactly what it seems.
You are a witch. It's true.
But this spirited lady can be a bit too much, especially for our boss.
Is Dad getting like he gets when we catch him reading Playboy?
He's not sweating and wheezing yet, but it looks like they're getting along.
Get Free Spirit on Wire TV.
Hold that thought.
Some tough talking, I'm sure, in the dressing room in between the first and second period, because the Milton Keynes Kings really should be on top with the amount of chances they've had, but Basingstoke Beavers still in the ascendancy. But it's Milton Keynes trying to force the pace early in the second period. Basingstoke have it through Tony Redmond. He's got a lot of work to do by himself. 3 blue shirts between him and the goal, 4 in the end. They got back in numbers and they got back quickly. And some of the Beavers players perhaps not anticipating the break as quickly as Redmond did. Here's Perrott. Again, looking up to see who is where, and nobody ready to take the puck away from him. There's Chris Brandt. Brandt just dumping it in for a line change, I think, but perhaps it'll turn out to be a bit more profitable than that. It's Grant Slater. Big Scotsman just working his way into the corner. There's Slater. Chases on, which will be won this time by Kindred. Just poked in the direction of the blue line. Now perhaps Milton Keynes can do something with this. Here comes McCarthy. Great work by McCarthy. It would be a superb goal if he could have put it away, but he couldn't this time. He might have a second opportunity. Patrick Scott! Good save by the legs of the Basingstoke Beavers goalie. That's Mark Dowd, chosen over Richard Blacksondale tonight. Now here come the Beavers. Now they have a 3-on-2 break, or they certainly had the opportunity of a 3-on-2 break there, and Scott O'Connor just watching that one go whistling past his right-hand post. Can't take your eyes off this game for a moment. Here's McCarthy. Again, just a dump in. Looking for somebody to come up left wing to pick up on the pass. Anthony Payne. He scored 1 this evening. Looking for another. Put them back on level terms. It's certainly play from deep within their own territory. Now McCarthy, shown already, he can make his way through the net, but he had a couple of Basingstoke Beavers keeping him very close company. Too close company he might have thought, but the referee, Ken Taggart, allowing play to continue. And it continues in favour of the Basingstoke Beavers. Clearance now will be made by Kindred down left wing. Might have picked out the man he was looking for this time. That's Trent Casey, looking to impose himself on this game. Kindred's done a lot of skating and finds himself all over the ice. Great save made by Mark Dowd, giving Basingstoke a chance to break forward with Chris Chard. That's Simon Howard for the Milton Keynes Kings. Taggart keeping a close watch on proceedings. Kindred, with a rather loping skating style, gets a shot away, and it wasn't too far away either. And it caused a ricochet from Mark Dowd to stop that one sneaking in. How close was it? We'll see from the replay. Dumped in by Mike Wagstaff, reclassified player for the Basingstoke Beavers. To no great effect or avail this time. Perhaps it'll work out for Chelsea. Redmond well on one with the keeper, should bury it. Well, he should have done it. He'll have a second chance perhaps around the post this time. He scored a goal much more difficult and complicated than that early on. Still bubbling around, still bouncing around. And Scott O'Connor decides, I'm going to have a piece of that before it can cause me any more concern, problems or trouble. Now here's the one-on-one opportunity for Redmond. And O'Connor guessed right by going to his right. Then a second opportunity. Lions were just trying to get the face-off circle sorted in terms of the competence in there. Falls fortuitously to Conway, still bobbling around, and it's finally poked home. A scrappy goal, but they all count. It'll show on the scoreboard, just like any classic move. Kevin Conway, as he often is with the Basingstoke Beavers, involved and instrumental in getting the puck where they wanted it to be. I think Scott O'Connor will be too pleased or proud of what he'll see here, because it sneaked through at the short side when he really should have had it covered. We won't be asking for a copy of this tape after that.
Scored by number 14, Anthony Page, unassisted.
4-2 Beavers, a bit of daylight opening up between these two sides, who are pretty evenly matched. There may yet be a comeback in this game, but very hard to predict. These teams could play 5 or 6 times to get completely different results. And with home advantage, you expect Basingstoke really to steal a march over Milton Keynes, who are better in their own rink than they are away from Bedfordshire. That's Casey. Dumped in. And Simon Perkins will, well, probably complete the clearance, but he's having a little bit of difficulty in doing so. Tight to the boards on left wing. That's Lee Powell, who took a fall. Will pick himself up, dust himself down, and start all over again as he watches Chris Brandt go like the wind. Puck was virtually onto the stick of his forward partner there, but he couldn't put it away. Still a lot of work for Milton Keynes to do to clear this danger. It's Dale Lambert deep in defence for the Milton Keynes Kings. Marple, it's been a bit quiet, but he's a defensive-minded player. Here's Scott. Opening up for McCarthy. They gave them the old 1-2. Patrick Scott to Doug McCarthy. That has happened so many times to the Milton Keynes Kings over the past couple of years. Very often the other way around, actually, but a return of the compliment as captain from Patrick Scott puts it away. Well, we've always had a game on our hands in this match, and more so now that the gap has been closed to 1 goal. Basingstoke know they've a long way to go before they've got this game secured. Andy Allen whips it up the ice for Simon Perkins to chase. A bit too much stick on that one this time. Rick Strachan will be happier with his team's second period performance than their first, as they've shown a little bit more life and effort and impetus. There's Marple. Marple's looking to do it all himself there and very nearly succeeded. But they might be called on the break. Long-range effort from Casey, just testing out the Basingstoke Beavers netminder. Though Jeff Smith this year, of course, he's gone to the Swindon Wildcats, so they've got Mark Dowd and Richard Baxendale as their 2 shot stoppers. Long-range effort, and Dowd called in to stop that one sneaking through, with Stan Marple for help and close attendance in case he was in any danger of doing so. And again, it's Rick Strachan who lets that one go. Probably screened, if anything, as that shot came through. Simon Howard. McCarthy hasn't got it, loses it. Doesn't know quite where it's gone, and while that's happening, a bit of danger accruing in front of net. That could have gone anywhere. Anthony Payne, though, forces it down the ice. It's McCarthy again, can't control it off his stick this time, in line with goal. Nobody there to take it off him. Patrick Scott was the closest, but he couldn't get it away. Scott's in right position, but can't get the pass out in front that he was looking for. And another break on for Brandt, who's really leaving his mark on this game early on. They'll remember him after the 60 minutes of play in this match. And there he is again. Brandt kicked out. He's going to follow up. Conway it was there for the ricochet. Campbell looking to try and stop the problems. Perrault, still Perrault. Patrick Scott now for Milton Keynes. In the corner. Milton Keynes King still battling. Neither of these sides are going to give up on any 50-50 puck. Ken Taggart lets play continue. Hasn't called too much in this game so far. Penalties have been at a premium. Strachan. Howard. Still deep within Milton Keynes territory, and they'll want to get it away from there as quickly as possible. As Trent Casey Good opening up there for Lee Power, moved into the centre. Patrick Scott got a deflection en route, and that's exactly what is being claimed. Now, a bit of nastiness opening up with Stan Marple, the new import for Basingstoke. Has certainly got a deflection en route. The goal will count, though. That I'm absolutely certain. Let's just see the replay, see if we can see we've got the ricochet off there. Got a touch, and the claim is, I think, the player in the crease, and that was Lee Powell, who was actually in the crease, obstructing the goalie, but Ken Taggart says no way. Jose in the back of the net. And then a bit of nastiness opening up. He look after himself, I think. 4-4. Now that's more like it from an impartial point of view. There'll be a lot of work still to do for both sides to get all the points in this. McCarthy very nearly putting Milton Keynes in the lead for what would have been the first time in the game. Chris Chard. Shot then ranging in, just wide of the target. Chance for McCarthy, one-on-one for McCarthy. Surely he won't let this one slip. He does. Brilliant save by the Basingstoke Beavers goalie, Mark Dowd. You would have put your money on McCarthy for sure on that one.
Number 27 for the Kings, Simon Perkins.
Here's Redmond. Now, to take his time, just look up to see who is where on this occasion. Chardwelly back on the blue line, him and Slater with a similar haircut there, which can be a little bit disconcerting for commentators. There's Chris Brandt. Follow in, and there's the goal that the home side had been waiting for what they would consider a little too long. Tony Redmond it is who gets the final touch. He spurned a one-on-one opportunity quite recently, but this time the goal made by Brandt, finished off by Redmond. And he completely fooled Scott O'Connor with the side that the puck was going to go into. He's a bustling, hustling worker, isn't he, Chris Brandt? Good finish. Pendulum swings back towards the home side again, and they've got possession. For how long, we'll see. Perkins doesn't clear for long. Marple! Well, the goal has been washed out by Ken Taggart. Now, the referee says that puck did not enter the net. The goal judge certainly indicated with the red light behind the net that it had gone in. Bit of an injury there to Dale Lambert. We'll be able to tell for ourselves on the replay. Did it go in or did it not go in? Well, that's a close one to call. The goal judge has given it, the referee has not. Basingstoke Beavers still piling on the pressure. Conway. That's Chris Brandt on the turn, left-handed shot. End of 2 periods play. 5-4, Beavers still in front after 40 minutes. Third period here in Hampshire, where hockey often happens. Hurricanes don't, but hockey does. And the Basingstoke Beavers trying to leave their imprint on this Premier Division game against the Milton Keynes Kings. They're going to play each other lots of times during the course of the season. And, well, it's a good way to start to get a notch on the stick. Basingstoke Beavers in orange, Milton Keynes Kings in blue to remind you, and just getting a touch and a feel of the puck. Mark Dowd for the Basingstoke Beavers. Stripies have been busy tonight. They had a lot of work to do, to keep up with play as well, which is pretty tricky when the players are going at the speed they've been going tonight. So no quarter given or taken by either side. Long range effort, goodness me, that man has a bullet-like shot, Brandt. Always early stages of a new season. He knows too much about how good or bad or indifferent the imports are going to be. That man's leaving an indelible mark with the way he attacks the puck and the way he attacks players as well. It's all a bit scrappy around net, and Andy Allen will look to clear it for the Milton Keynes Kings. Doesn't though this time, and Stuart Heisman trying to force his way back towards the goal. Brandt Conway now on halfway. Just taking it back towards his own net to eat up a few seconds for the clock. It's Basingstoke in the box seat and the driving seat at the moment. There's a long way still to go in this game yet. That's Chris Chard, the centreman for the Basingstoke Beavers. Here come Milton Keynes Kings with Trent Casey. Casey just getting the puck trapped up in his stick and his skates, giving Basingstoke a chance to bring it away. They'll try and keep the pressure on them as long as they can, but they can't afford to be too gung-ho in this game because they are behind. Just watching that scream across the face of net. Scott O'Connor with a bumping and boring in the corner. Good chance opening up. Still might present itself for somebody in front of net. Chard. Nobody in the crease to follow up for the ricochet that time and gives Simon Perkins a chance to bring it away for the Milton Keynes Kings. Quick dump and chase. I think Dowd was too sure where that was going to go. Phil Chard. As Basingstoke tried to formulate another attack, but it might be overturned this time. They are. Chasing into net, Anthony Payne, a lot of work to do by himself. Paddy Scott arriving belatedly. Phil Chard, that is, with the puck. Be a bit careful as he guides it out from his own blue line. 50-50 puck, which is going to fall for Andy Pickles. Given up, though, McCarthy. Still bobbling around in front of net, and Mark Dowd says, make that mine. I'm going to make it mine if nobody else does. Sprawl just inspecting what damage there might be to Anthony Payne. Just picks himself up and winces a bit and blows a few times, but that's made of granite. Scott tries to win it. Scott's going to try and win it again. Doesn't succeed. Anthony Payne. You know who this is by now. Brandt. It's maybe a souvenir for somebody just behind the plexiglass. Dale Lambert just skating into position, observing what's been going on and wondering who this new imposter is. McCarthy. Away come the Milton Keynes Kings. It's McCarthy, little drop pass, good play. Nearly opening up for Anthony Payne. He obviously tried that move and that drill very often in practice, in training sessions. But not quite as they would have tested themselves out with it a couple of days before. Milton Keynes Kings, who nearly went to the wall a couple of seasons ago, very much back in evidence, as in the Basingstoke Beavers. A shot there from Anthony Page. Not to be confused with Anthony Payne, who's playing on the other side. Perron. Redmond. Good free-flowing move. Page. Redmond. Can get the shot away. Stopped in his tracks by Mike Kindred. Come the Kings. Going to be all the way for Patrick Scott. Great goal. That's class finishing, if you like, and they like it. He certainly does. I don't think he does very much. Just watch this. It'll look pretty quick even in slow motion. Patrick Scott did all the hard work. Put the cherry on the top. Left-hand corner. No chance. Made his mind up what he was going to do with that from as soon as he picked up the puck. Wrist shot. Top left-hand corner. Well, you can't separate these two. 5-5. It's been a great game. It's got more to come yet. Kicked away from the shot from Simon Howard by Mark Dowd. No icing, so Dale Lambert will have to pick it up. Lambert to Payne. Payne to Lambert. Maybe high stick if it's touched by a Basingstoke Beavers player, but it's not because it's Doug McCarthy, captain of the Milton Keynes Kings. Pass virtually onto the stick of Anthony Payne. He's been in the wars in this game. Brandt. Backward defence, where we haven't seen him very often in this game because he's been more penetrative up the other end of the ice. Conway. I just enjoy playing with this man. Brandt. Got to be careful here, Milton Keynes. Paddy Scott. Support from Casey behind him if he can get him into position and get the pass away. He can't, so they're going to have to backtrack, and it's going to be Casey who'll pick it up on defence now, with Kindred filtering off to the right. It's high, long, no icing again, so Kings will have to play it. A bit of a hash of that clearance, but they got it far enough away not to cause them too many immediate problems, but all a bit hit and hope at the moment. Casey just staying up the ice in case there's an errant pass. There very nearly was. Kindred into the corner. Casey still up there. Decides to pull away from it this time. Basingstoke. Through the centre. There's Phil Chard. That's getting trapped up in his other skates. Chard now to Brandt. Brandt to Chard. Chard on the turn, gets the shot away. Covered on the near post by Scott O'Connor. Now chance perhaps for Milton Keynes to break away. Casey. Scott's there. Good save. Don't know how much he knew about it. Pretty instinctive though from Mark Dowd. Meanwhile the play turns to the other end of the ice. Attention turns towards Stan Marple. Goes crashing into the boards. Back out to the blue line. Back out to halfway. Brandt. Brandt had some support arriving from Chard. He thought there was a hooking or tripping call. Should have been called by Ken Taggart. Nothing was, so Milton Keynes got a chance to come away with it. That's an offside pass. Trent Casey waiting for it, but in anticipation of the puck, not the other way around. So there'll be a face-off. Well, is there any worry and concern on that Basingstoke Beavers bench? Gary Duville, the coach, just giving a rueful look to some of his players and wondering what other permutations he's got to use if he wants to get all the points in this game. May not need to worry about it. Great chance! Pull away, poacher's goal, Kevin Conway. The smile is as wide as the river from the area where he comes from, Sault Ste. Marie in Ontario, Canada. And there he is. Even I could have put that one away, but you have to be in the right place at the right time, really, don't you? One more time with feeling, Kevin.
The Beavers,
6 goals to 5. The Basingstoke Beavers in the lead. Put your money on either side at this point, though. There's still lots of play left in this game. Phil Chard. His brother Chris also playing on the side, both having a pretty good game. And just to underline that point, the great Chard's opening up, and the final touch is put to it by Chris Chard. Chris Chard gets the finish, and the brotherly combination works to great effect for the Beavers. There's a big chink of daylight opening up, and Chard says, "Oh, thank you." Goalie down, puck goes up. Beavers have 7. Chard has his first. Easy pickings for the number 11. Once he got into position, he was only going one place, up. 7-5, Beavers. Now, what do Milton Keynes have left in their locker to pull themselves into this game? It's a bit of a mountain to climb. What's a relatively low-scoring game by British ice hockey standards. Marple. New big defender for the Basingstoke Beavers. Big he might be, but problems he's having there, being hassled and harried in the corner. Now Perkins, can he find anybody? He can! Scott! His second. And the Milton Keynes Kings have another. I do him a disservice, that's his 3rd of the evening. Hat-trick goal for Patrick Scott. Put away with some aplomb.
The Kings 6 goals scored by number 10, Patrick Scott.
So, Patrick Scott, it's a one-man crusade to bring the Kings back into it. There he is again on the puck, trying to find this time Rick Strachan, who'd moved out into the centre of goal, but couldn't do this time. They might just get caught on the break if they're not careful. Face off right back down the other end of the ice. Chris Chard will contest it with Trent Casey across him, and face off to Scott. Oh! straight hat-trick to make it 4 on the night. This man has a golden arm and a golden stick and radar. I'm sure he does. That man knows he does. It's going to come back to Scott. One-timer. Pick that one out. It's instinctive, and he knows just where that's going. And unfortunately, so too does Mark Dowd. 7-7. What a cracking game. Great advert for British ice hockey this has been. Both sides working to their fullest. Early stage of the season, probably the summer legs haven't quite gone yet. Long-range effort just testing out O'Connor. Not long to go in this game, as either side got the clincher, the winner, the finisher for all the points. Hurrah! As close as he's come all night. Milton Keynes in centre ice will want to try and get a piece of this. That's the final whistle, and it's been a cracking game. Basingstoke Beavers 7, Milton Keynes Kings 7.
Well, we've just seen a good advertisement for British ice hockey at Basingstoke. The Kings starting to show signs that they'll be a force to be reckoned with after all in the Premier Division this year. Beavers man of the match Anthony Page says it was a good early season workout.
Yeah, it was a tough game. Both sides we played really well. From my side, I enjoyed the game, had a good game, but unfortunate to lose those 2 goals at the end. Give them all credit, they forced us well at the end there. Really, we should have won the game, but we sat back on our lead and paid the price, really.
We fell behind there going into near the end of the third period. We came back, showed a little bit of character, and anytime you can steal a point on the road, I mean, it's a very good result for us, especially with this, a well-established team. It was a tough game, you know. Whenever we've played Basingstoke, they've always been fairly tight games, except for one a couple of years ago, and tonight again, it just showed that we're going to battle each other all year long.
Well, so far, we haven't lost a game so far. Drawn 2, including tonight. Things are looking good, atmosphere's good in the team. So yeah, things are looking promising.
We've all worked hard all summer long. We got a good group of guys, and our goal is to make the playoffs and see what the playoffs bring.
Now our first visit to the Spectrum, the home of the Guildford Flames, and their meeting with the Lee Valley Lions. It ended 10-7 against the Chieftains, and a pleasing night for new player Steve Moria, who's forsaken Blackburn for Swindon. A difficult decision?
Well, yeah, it was in a way. It was a very difficult decision. I think at Blackburn, I think I achieved what I could achieve, and it was time for me to move on. And you know, Darryl was bugging me for years to come down to Swindon and play. And you know, it's a place where I always thought where there was a lot of potential, where the ice hockey could really boom. And that's probably the reason why I chose to play at Swindon. Good bunch of players, and you know, I think we're starting to gel now. We're going to have a pretty good hockey team.
One of the most successful imports to play in British ice hockey over the past decade has been Rick Brabant. He originally hails from Ontario, Canada, but has spent the last 8 years establishing his name with the Durham Wasps and Cardiff Devils. He's now starting a new career with the Nottingham Panthers, and apparently still as keen as ever to rack up the goals.
Stayed hungry over the years I've been here, and I still enjoy the game as when I played it as a kid. I think some imports come over here and maybe the level's not what it is at home, and they get caught up in the nightlife or things like that, and they lose their heart to go out there and succeed every game, and I think I've kept that over the years. Hopefully I'm a player that their teams would love me to play for, and their fans would hate me to play against. You know, it's one of those things. I just go out there and I try and do my job well, and if it does, I'm going to upset a few people, but that's hockey.
What about the team that you're playing on now, Nottingham Panthers 94-95? It's a different type of outfit from one you've been used to before.
I think we're going through a learning process. They went through some hardships last year, and I think it'll be time before I think we fully gel both on the ice and in the power plays and so on. But we're slowly getting there. We have a good side. We'll be a side that will contend for all the major trophies this year. hopefully I'm bringing a winning attitude to Nottingham, and hopefully that's rubbing off on some of the younger players. And you can see it that Nottingham are a better club this year, and I think it's a little bit more pressure. Maybe we'll bring a better Rick Brabant out. I like to win. I enjoy it. I enjoy being on winning sides, and the hunger for the game is there, you know. And as long as that's there, I'll keep putting the skates on and keep showing up every night. I'd like to stay in the game, but if not, I have experience in marketing and advertising, so hopefully that's not for a while.
Now new the Benson & Hedges Cup matches played over the weekend. From Saturday's games, Fife Flyers continue to blaze the trail, and again it was Tony Tzabo who caught the eye with 3 goals and 2 assists in a 10-1 demolition of the Edinburgh Racers. Teesside gained sweet revenge for last weekend's defeat at Paisley, Paul Windridge their hat-trick hero. And First Division Medway Bears provided the real shock as they turned over Premier side the Bracknell Bees 6-5, import Switzer and DeFarcio doing the damage. On Sunday, Edinburgh got back to winning form thanks to 2 goals from Mike Ware, which helped them overcome Teesside 6-4. First Division Telford Tigers did another David and Goliath act, this time over Whitley at their own Hillheads rink, the Tigers sneaking it by 9 goals to 8. And Steelers again had to find a third-period surge to beat Nottingham Panthers 6-3. Their 4 unanswered goals delighted the 8,300 crowd. So after 2 weeks of cup competition, only Fife and Sheffield have a 100% record. Cardiff, last year's beaten finalists, still got some work to do to qualify for the quarter-final stage, the top 2 from each group only going through. And Blackburn, Trafford and Romford can realistically wave goodbye to any further progress. Well, that's all from Ice Wars GB for this week. Some great Premier Division action involving 4 of the top teams in your next taste of the world's fastest team sport. Goodbye for now.
Stuff. We've had the rain soaked, and now we've got the Ice Wars. That's right, we're going to British ice hockey action for you. The couple of highlight games we're going to bring you are Edinburgh Racers versus the Durham Wasps, and also Fife versus Nottingham. But tonight in Ice Wars, the main game for you, Lee Valley.
After an impressive Swindon Wildcats 6, Solihull Barons 8. Back to the Premier Division now, and Sheffield Steelers rolled over by Cardiff in the B&H, meeting Milton Keynes, fresh from a home win against the Hawks. And it was the Kings who struck first, inevitably through top scorer Patrick Scott. Andy Havenhand covers the angle, but Scott puts it the other way. Good, hard, industrious work from Tommy Plummer brought dividends here. He'll not be denied, and Nemeth gets enough of the stick on it to make it 1-1. Steelers have just signed Ken Murchison from the East Coast Hockey League in America. This was the first time he had a chance to show what he could do. Scott Neal thinks he's setting up Nemeth, but Murchison it is who gets the clean contact. Second period now, and despite Sheffield outshooting the visitors 20-8, it belonged to Milton Keynes. Scott's shot in range of net, Rob Wilson's unable to clear. Doug McCarthy's turn to have a go. Wilson got his own back on the Kings' defence as they get in a muddle. He's about to compose himself and find a way past the impressive Scott O'Connor in the Milton Keynes net. Rick Strachan, who we'll see shortly in the player profile, is the instigator in this move. Watch out for number 15, Anthony Payne, taking a player out of the play to allow Patrick Scott to net his second goal of the night. A minute later, Steelers edge back in front. Mike O'Connor and Ron Shudra making the goal possible, but stationed in front of net with a keen eye on the game is Les Milley. But it was the Kings who had the last telling blow as far as goals were concerned in this period. Strachan finds Mike Kindred, who just puts his head down and gives it a big thump to great effect. More thumping of a different kind coming up in the dying seconds of the middle period. Scott O'Connor snaffles the puck, but watch out for the shenanigans happening behind the goal to the right-hand side. New boy Ken Murchison and old hand Dale Lambert going toe-to-toe. Are you watching, George Foreman? The right-handed Murchison goes southpaw, leaving a trail of blood on the ice. There's more to come yet, before the linesmen intervene. And that heralded an early bath for both Murchison and for Lambert. Back to the ice hockey action. It's all one-way traffic now. Tim Cranston ends a goal drought that stretches back to early October. That's Steelers' 5th goal. And another of those explosive length of the ring moves coming up. Started by Rob Wilson. Nemeth has his honing device prepared. Watch out for the rubber, Scott O'Connor. From provider to scorer again now for Wilson. The puck pings around like a pinball. Cranston goes on the chase, lays it off to Scott Neal, and Wilson casually walks it in past the stranded Scott O'Connor. Sheffield Steelers 7, Milton Keynes Kings 4, but they made hard work of it, the Steelers, and next week they've Nottingham Panthers and Cardiff Devils away from the arena.
Rick Strachan is player coach of the Milton Keynes Kings. Strachan has worked his way up through the ranks from English Division 1 side Haringey to the Premier Division with the Kings. However, now he's announced that he's to hang up his skates and concentrate on organising things on the bench.
Well, I think right now, you know, my hockey team in the first year in the Premier, and we're finding it very tough. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, the team needs a coach. You know, the game's a lot faster, and the boys, you know, with the younger guys in our team, they need a hand during the game. You know, it's hard for me to concentrate on playing and coaching at the same time, and, you know, only between periods is I can help them out. So, but, you know, when they come off every shift, I can help them out. So it'll be an experience. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it or if I'm not going to enjoy it, but, you know, I love coaching, and I like, you know, I love the game. So, you know, that's the only time's going to tell. My team hasn't basically adapted to the Premier style. You know, it's 100% both ways, and you know, in the beginning, you know, we started out quick, and then you know, I guess the other teams, you know, got playing right, and it showed that we were lacking a little bit. And you know, the last couple of games, as we started playing a Premier League style, you know, we started working in both ends of the rink, and we started playing for 60 minutes. You know, our problems right now is, you know, Paddy Scott was the guy everybody looked upon. You know, we did make a change, and we're bringing in a guy who else is a goal scorer, so that should take a lot of the pressure off Paddy. Well, the defenseman replacing me is he's 6'3", 220, and he's very offensive, very big guy, very poised out there, and he's gonna settle down the back, and you know, he's able to play 40 minutes. And the other guy we got coming in is a fast forward. He's very talented and very skilled. So, you know, two guys we got coming in are offensive players, and you can teach anybody to play defense. We just got to try to, you know, for the next, you know, 5 games is to pick up a few points here and there, and then, you know, get into the homestead with the 2 new imports and hopefully another British guy, and you know, then take it from there. But it isn't over until April.
Now a look back at the weekend's other results. The Nottingham Panthers crushed the Edinburgh Racers 25 goals to 11 over 2 legs in the B&H Cup semi-final. They'll now meet the Cardiff Devils at the Sheffield Arena on December the 3rd. In the Premier Division on Saturday, Mark Morrison continued his good run of form with 2+3 in Flyers' victory over Whitley. The Warriors taking 146 minutes in penalties. And the Kings got their second win of the campaign, Patrick Scott with 5 goals and 5 assists. Some tight games in Division 1. The night's hotshots were Derek Higdon with 6+2 for Slough against Blackburn, and Teesside's Richard Laplante, who scored 5 of Bombers' 6 goals at home to Trafford. On Sunday, Randy Smith helped Peterborough to another win over Durham. He scored 4+4, and Fife's late show was not enough to salvage a point at Whitley. They had trailed 5-1. The form book rang true for most of the Division 1 matches, except at Bradford, where Trafford surprised Swindon. Frank Morris and Oleg Sinkov at their best with 3 goals apiece. The Premier Division table shows little change, with Panthers and Racers in B&H Cup action and Cardiff away in Europe. The top 3 stays the same, with Fife moving up to 4th place. But much movement in Division 1. Telford climbed to the top, Slough breathing down their necks, Swindon slipping to 3rd for the first time this season. At the other end, only Dumfries and Medway of the bottom 7 clubs won. Problems mounted Lee Valley and Romford. Next week, we've a showdown of epic proportions, with Cardiff Devils taking on the Sheffield Steelers. Will there be revenge in the air? Find out next week, when we'll also have highlights from 2 other games on Ice Wars GB. Until then, it's goodbye for now. Welcome to more top ice hockey action from the Premier and First Divisions of the British League in Ice Wars GB. We'll see the league and championship holders, the Cardiff Devils, in action against the Milton Keynes Kings at the Blade Runner rink. What effect has Europe had on the Devils? Also looking to bounce back are the Edinburgh Racers, humiliated by Nottingham a week ago. We've got the highlights from their match against Peterborough. Plus, our cameras feature First Division goal action from Blackburn as the Hawks meet the Swindon Wildcats. First, though, to Milton Keynes. Only 2 wins from 14 games so far for the home side. How will they fare against the Devils? The man who can tell us is Bob Ballard.
Just 2 wins so far this season in the league for the Milton Keynes Kings, who really are experiencing growing pains at their first attempt in the Premier Division. But they do have some very strong players in there, but will be changing their import lineup before very long. Be interested to see how they make out on home ice against the Cardiff Devils at the Blade Runner rink this evening. As for the Cardiff Devils, well, they know the Milton Keynes Kings pretty well. They faced them just a few days ago in the Wales National Ice Rink after returning from European Cup duty, and they beat Milton Keynes by 9 goals to 4 on that occasion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cardiff Devils.
John Moore is your referee at the Blade Runner ice rink. The Cardiff Devils in their familiar red and green shirts. And playing from left to right will be the home side, the Milton Keynes Kings. And Cardiff, who had a pretty torrid time in Minsk in the European Cup just a week ago. 3 very hard games. They managed to score just 3 goals in that time. And got a shutout in 1 game, but they're back to what they know best, and that's British ice hockey, which they controlled last year, aside from losing out to the Murrayfield Racers, as was in the final of the B&H competition. That's Doug Smale, who they've just acquired. After a season with the Fife Flyers, he's come over to join them to help them strengthen their European Cup campaign, and he's now looking to be a permanent fixture with the Cardiff Devils. He'll certainly give them another option. Kings just trying to test out Jason Wood early in the game. There's Ruggles picking out Doug Smale. Smale being held off the play by Patrick Scott. As to him, they look for most of the good work. Smale just being held off the play, and Scott O'Connor in net for Milton Keynes, doing well to position himself where Smale was going to be. Scott, who was the top scorer until last weekend anyway. He was the top scorer in the Premier Division. He's played quite a few more games than a lot of the other teams, including the Cardiff Devils, who played about half as many as Milton Keynes. Have an opportunity there, just screaming across the face of net, looking for the tap in from Lee Powell's puck across the face, and there was Paddy Scott, not able to convert on this occasion. Really has got a good eye for goal, Paddy Scott, and will be annoyed with himself that he didn't manage to convert and get Milton Keynes a step ahead of the Devils at the early stage. It's all fall down in centre ice. Chance for Dumas to show what he can do, just shrugging off the attentions of Mike Kindred. Nicky Chin waiting in behind the play. He'll go in to help out. There's Chin. Kindred now going to move in to try and help out Simon Perkins. Here's Chin. Chin drives one, and it's found its way through Scott O'Connor's defences. And the Cardiff Devils are on the board. 2 minutes and 18 into the first period. And Nicky Chin is really racking up the stats for the Devils these days. Product of the Cardiff Devils development. And he's come on in leaps and bounds. Shot that went through the pads of Scott O'Connor. So the Devils, after 2 minutes and 18 seconds, are in the lead against the Milton Keynes Kings. Kings will be looking to keep it tight early on because they know they don't have the strength and depth for 60 minutes, and if they can just keep Cardiff at bay, they might be able to find something later on in the game. Peter Smith clearing it all the way down the ice. No real reason for Simon Howard to chase. Smith just whipping it around with the wrists just to keep a little bit of daylight between the Devils and the Milton Keynes Kings at this early stage of the game. Cooper, Ruggles and Shannon Hope combining. Here's Doug Smale, drop pass to Shannon Hope. Very tame shot, not giving Scott O'Connor too many problems. Simon Howard unable to clear at the first attempt. Long range boomer coming in with Ruggles just sniffing around the front of net. Always a dangerous customer and somebody they'll really want to keep quiet in the early stages. Cooper, Ruggles, good chance for him. And the Crive get tough with them because they're allowing the Devils to swarm the net. It's Jason Stone. Just chasing forwards Mark Hazelhurst, who really wanted that puck quite badly. Dale Lambert will control it round the back of his own net. Off the plexi. That's Hazelhurst, who's now moved back to centre ice. Doug Smell winning it back for the Cardiff Devils. At the moment, the Kings doing well to keep the Devils at bay because they're getting all the possession and causing all the problems. Now Smale arriving in the centre. There's Ruggles. Ruggles first time and second time, and Smale just gives Scott O'Connor, let's say, a reassuring penalty. He was just trying to keep his equilibrium at that stage. But Ruggles was the danger man, and Scott O'Connor knew what he had to do, and he just spread himself. Very good netminder, Scott O'Connor, highly rated by his own club and indeed others around the country. And if it had not been for him in some games this season, the scorelines could have been much, much bigger. To take an awful lot of rubber heading his way in games as the Kings trying to come to terms with moving up from First Division to Premier. Nicky Chin's long-range effort. Scott O'Connor doesn't know where it is. And is it in? John Moore's going to go and have a chat with the goal judge, who hasn't, as far as I can see, put his light on. Long chat, and John Moore has awarded the goal. So Nicky Chin scores 4:09. Don't think the crowd are aware of that. We might get a bit of a look at that from the replay in just a moment. Claude Dumas will probably get the assist. Here comes the shot from Nicky Chin. There's a stop, and it's just trickling. It's still going, and there it is. Yet it's over the line. No doubt about that. So Nicky Chin does it again for the Devils. 2 goals for him in the opening 4 minutes and 9 seconds, giving the Devils a 2-0 advantage. That's precisely what Rick Strachan, the player coach of the Milton Keynes Kings, did not want at this stage in the game, to have to play catch-up so early on. And Strachan just dumping it into the corner. And they want to get a few men forward, and it's a bit of bumping and a bit of checking is going to have to be done by the Kings. Don't want to expend all their energy too early on. The home crowd just a little bit taken aback by what they've seen so far. That's Mark Hazelhurst, just back from the Telford Tigers, where he's been, but Telford couldn't afford the transfer fee, so Hazelhurst is back with the Milton Keynes Kings. Here's Doug McCarthy. He's trailing a little bit of tape, it seems, off his arm there. Trying to be held off the play. They're trying to work their way into net. A good shot with the wrist coming in from, I think, Paddy Scott got the shot away there. And here we're trying to find some room out in front of net. Now behind there, trying to stop Doug McEwen bringing the puck away for the Cardiff Devils. Shannon Hope just trying to act as a shield, as a guard for McEwen. He's playing on D rather than forward these days with the amount of firepower they've got. Shot comes across and was put in from Neil Francis, who's getting a shift or two now with the Cardiff Devils. John Lawless, the coach, until recently player coach of the Devils, not afraid to give all his team a run out. McCarthy will be annoyed with himself. He didn't put that one away. A one-on-one opportunity with Jason Wood. Smale just pushed off the plate. Shannon Hope will look to clear. Lee Power takes him into the corner. Here's Paddy Scott waiting for some white shirts to come back over the blue line to stop them being offside. Lee Power in front of net, and nearly the compliment returned, as we saw earlier on with Scott and Powell. Nearly the other way around that time. Smale tries it the short side. Scott O'Connor had that one pretty well covered, and now gives a chance to his team to force their way forward. With Anthony Payne letting one go. Lee Powell slides across the crease. Comes out in front. Upended is Anthony Payne. Payne and Cooper getting embroiled. And Jason Wood makes the stop, but that's brought an appreciative round of applause from the home fans as well. It might. Milton Keynes know they have to do something and do pretty quick. And Cooper and Payne getting involved. No afters, nice to see. Payne and Cooper know each other very well from their Durham Wasps days. And to be fair, Milton Keynes are making Cardiff backtrack quite a bit at the moment. And Dale Lambert will try and make things happen. Stick's gone astray. It's from a Cardiff Devils player, so while he goes to select it and pick it up again, here chance for the puck to slide through. Well, there's a number of options there for the Milton Keynes Kings. McCarthy was forward, Paddy Scott was. Decided to take the shot initially and early on Jason Wood. They did, and Jason Wood, the second attempt, manages to smother it before Paddy Scott gets a sniff of a second chance. And here's Lambert. Scott, Lambert moving into the centre. Hazelhurst this side of the ice. Shannon Hope will do the reparation work for the Cardiff Devils. It's Lambert, he might just put himself into a little bit of trouble there. Here's Smale. That's opening up, it must be put away by Ruggles, as it and is. And Dale Lambert will be a little bit annoyed with himself there, because initially it was he that put his team into trouble, and once Smale had got the puck and seen where Ruggles had moved to, really there was only one result. Into the top left-hand corner with Scott O'Connor stranded. 3-0 then Devils, and they've now really taken this game by the scruff of the neck, though. Goals do come very quickly in ice hockey. And Doug McCarthy will be as aware of that as anybody, as will Paddy Scott, who's just hovering around for a chance. Long-range effort, well stopped by Jason Wood. The puck disappears from view. We've got a fair amount of stick on that, but a really good shot coming in. And Jason Wood just managing to get enough across to the left. Lambert. He's got a good shot as Dale Lambert. After all his years in British ice hockey, he knows precisely what to do, and was emphasising that there. Has to get back on defence pretty quickly now. There's Mike Kindred. The end of the first period, and the Milton Keynes Kings have some work to do. The Devils lead by 3-0. Two goals by Nicky Chin and one by Hilton Ruggles makes that scoreline the way it is. 3-0 to the Cardiff Devils over the Milton Keynes Kings. But in terms of shots in that first period, it was very, very tight. 12 on Jason Wood in the Cardiff net. Make it 13 with that one just being whipped around in front of his legs. And 11 on Scott O'Connor. So in terms of shots, Milton Keynes had the better of it. The home fans have not given up on their team just yet. But this second period will be very important to the way this game is going to eventually turn out. That's Neil Francis. Now here comes Doug McCarthy. Doug McCarthy accelerating down the middle, needs some help to arrive. There it is from Hazelhurst. Testing out Jason Wood. Clearance made by Doug McCure. Not far enough for the Cardiff Devils' liking. Paddy Scott's got himself into good position if they can get the pass across to him. Kindred waiting back off the play. Here's Kindred. A cute angle nearly found its way through, but Jason Wood perhaps a little bit too cute for that sort of effort. But Kindred certainly knew what to do, controlled it well, set himself up, got his body in a good position, slid it through the legs of Simon Keating. And Jason Wood again equal to it. Milton Keynes doing well in the early stage of this second period, but here comes Dumas. Little reverse to Nicky Chin. Tries to go upstairs. Scott O'Connor saw him. A little bit of afters there with Anthony Payne and Nicky Chin. All breaks up fairly amicably and very quickly. And we'll see how close Nicky Chin came. Well, not very close at all, actually, because Scott O'Connor did well what every good netminder should do. Chase on for the player coach Rick Strachan, hanging up his skates very shortly to make way for two new imports. They've already released Trent Casey. He's gone to Blackburn. That's Anthony Payne. Took a ricochet en route, giving Strachan a chance perhaps to set up Lee Powell, who'd moved forward. But chase back now for Simon Howard, who knows Dumas climbing all over him, and Dumas getting shot away at the first attempt, and he wasn't that far wide of the target either. Those sort of instinctive shots that Dumas is very, very capable of getting, but this time round he gets second best to Nicky Chin, who is just about everywhere and in his prime form in this game. His third goal of the night, a hat-trick coming for him. 11 minutes and 33 into the second period. And again, Dumas just hovering by that left-hand pipe of Scott O'Connor's in case there was a ricochet or a rebound. 31-33 gone on the game. And Devils turn the screw just a little bit further. McEwen through the centre of the ice again, using every inch of the width of this 60 by 30 metre rink at the Blade Runner ice rink in Milton Keynes, one of the newer facilities around the country, one of the nicer ones too. That's Lambert. All on the ice, just seeing what Jason Wood's made of. He knows him from his Medway Bears days. Actually didn't play him in one game down at Southampton when that existed, which I think is something that Jason Wood to this day still remembers. But their paths have gone in completely different ways since then. Apart from the fact, of course, they're both Great Britain internationals. Now, what's something in centre ice? Nobody particularly wanted to take control. Smale might just do that, and then the shot coming in from Ruggles. Ruggles and Smale combining. Well, that's going to be an awesome and enviable combination if it goes on the way it's looking tonight. They obviously have developed telepathy very early on and know precisely what each other wants to do, and that's what they want to do, is put the puck away past Scott O'Connor. 5-0. It's in danger of being a rout now. Smale, Ruggles, this is the danger line as far as the Milton Keynes Kings are concerned, with young Jason Stone waiting back on the blue line. Rick Strachan doing all he can to keep them at bay. Simon Howard in a fair old battle. Anthony Payne will try and hold Hilton Ruggles off the play. Smale, Shannon the Cannon Hope, letting one go on range. Cooper, could be Scott O'Connor at the moment. Meanwhile, there's something happening with Hilton Ruggles and Anthony Payne. Happened just off the play. Anthony Payne, you can see, is not at all happy with that, and telling the linesman in no uncertain terms he's going to be a bit careful he doesn't carry that on too much. Look at the back of your picture there. You'll see that initially Anthony Payne holding on, and then Hilton Ruggles just lets that elbow fly into the face of Anthony Payne. They're both going to go for two. The Devils player Hilton Ruggles there for elbows, and 2 minutes for holding for Anthony Payne. Change in netminder, by the way. Jason Wood has been pulled. There's nothing to read into that particularly, other than Jason is going to make way for the new young prodigy at the Cardiff Devils. 14-year-old Stevie Lyle. John Lawless has a lot of faith in both of them and likes to give them as much time as he possibly can. Hazelhurst there with Cooper. Really getting involved, those two. Getting involved a bit more. There's going to be more afters than just a little bit of a contretemps between these two. And off come the gloves. Off comes Cooper's. Then Hazelhurst has got Cooper down on the ice, so the linesman will step in. Who'd want this job? The two Youngs, Terry Young and Lee Young, may not feel quite so young after pulling Hazelhurst and Cooper apart. They still haven't finished the night's work. Meanwhile, Doug Smale and Rick Strachan have a good laugh about the proceedings, wondering what it's all about. Something and nothing really, but Ian Cooper has a quick chat with Doug McEwen before departing the scene. There's going to be an imbalance in penalties. Might get an idea of quite what was going on here. With a wrestling match to start off with, then a bit of afters. Doug Smale keeping watching brief, and then in comes Cooper, bang, 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 and then Hazelhurst gets him down, ready to pummel him into submission before the linesmen are in there. Now the penalties. It's going to be 6 minutes in total for Mark Hazelhurst and only 2 for Ian Cooper. Cardiff shoots down the
Kings have one man return to the ice.
Milton Keynes end of the ice, and now there's an imbalance in numbers on the ice. 5-on-4 situation. They try and poke it home. Doug Smale finding his way past the defences of Scott O'Connor. Gets a receptive pat from Nicky Chin. And Doug Smale's on the board on the power play. An assist will go to Hilton Ruggles, so just returning the compliment of the previous goal. A little tap in from close range. And Cardiff extend the lead, extend the gap to 6-0. 36 minutes on the clock, and borrowed Scott O'Connor. Not his night, and certainly not Milton Keynes' night. Might be a chance for Alex Barnes to get a look in the third period. Yes, at this stage the game seems, well, academic in terms of which way it's going to go. The only question is how many goals are going to be scored against Milton Keynes, and can they at least get themselves on the board? Cardiff looking out from deep, using Francis acrobatics, and did well to keep control, though nobody was really bearing down on him too closely to try and steal the puck away. McEwen, good player, a lot of class, and has shown it all the way through his career with Peterborough, Lee Valley, and more recently over the past few years with the Cardiff Devils. Such a tireless worker too. Francis, it's a long way wide of the target. Maybe another game might get a little bit closer. Shannon Hope goes upstairs, goes downstairs, can't find a way through the ladies' chamber, all through Scott O'Connor. They won't stop them from trying. Simon Keating just in the corner. Shannon Hope will have to get those skates moving in the other direction. As Doug McCarthy just hovers around the goal, see if he can steal something away. Ruggles, rink wide pass to Francis. Francis will try and get it back in range. Keating, Ruggles, Francis! And Neil Francis, one of the youngsters who doesn't get as much ice time as the more senior players on the team, of course, but makes as much use of every shift that he can get as he can, and on this occasion makes very good use of it indeed, because he finds the route to goal. Two good stops made by Scott O'Connor, but he was helpless to do anything about that last opportunity. Cardiff 7-0 up. Looking very, very powerful indeed. Smale, Ruggles. These two seem to be on the ice all the time. They're not, I can assure you, but they just seem to be Cooper and Smale just digging, and hoping that there is a way through. There's Cooper. Just positioned himself there, would not be moved, and Scott O'Connor just getting his glove on top of things. Ruggles, Smale, Cooper. This line has caused absolute havoc. Actually, the other lines that have been used by John Laws tonight haven't been that ineffectual either. Anthony Payne battling for all he's worth, trying to get possession for the Milton Keynes Kings. Jason Stone will whip it round the board. Paddy Scott, strangely quiet and silent by his high standards in this game. Strachan into the corner. Jason Stone communicates with Jason Wood to know where he's going to go and what he's going to do with the puck. And Milton Keynes will have to start to build from centre ice. Here's Ian Cooper driving to the net. Still Cooper. Tries a little cheeky backhander. Hope. Cooper's still in range, but he'll have to wait as the puck is started up in the direction of the Milton Keynes net from halfway. But chance maybe for Paddy Scott. Just couldn't control it with his stick. We'll get it back. Nobody in a white shirt to collect. And the story of the game, really, certainly in the second period. And away come the Cardiff Devils in the last minute of the second period. That's Claude Dumas. Here's Ian Cooper. Dumas just shoveled away by Mike Kindred. Lambert's there for support. So too is Simon Perkins. But Ian Cooper finds a way through. I'm not quite sure how either from that angle. It was a very acute angle indeed. Must have surely taken a deflection off something or someone on the way, because that angle he certainly couldn't have got in. I think the final touch has come from Dale Lambert. We'll get a better idea from here. Yep, Lambert trying to clear the crease, just succeeds in putting it in. So it's 8-0 Cardiff Devils. It is a rout. There's still 20 more minutes to go, plus a few seconds in this game. McCarthy and Ian Cooper gets his name on the score sheet. His first point of the evening as well for the Great Britain forward. Shoveled away by Simon Perkins. Comes back with interest from Nicky Chin and Claude Dumas. Here's Chin. Dumas, oh, so close to getting yet another one. That would have been number 9. Scoreboard operators being kept very quick, very busy in this second period. Kindred, and that's an offside call made by the linesman. Just nothing going right for the home side. Mike Kindred, who's improved in leaps and bounds since he came to Milton Keynes. Another former Medway Bear that Dale Lambert played with. Kindred. There's McCarthy. Ooh, just let one go and just testing out Jason Wood. The last test he'll have though in the second period, because the Devils have done all the hard work. They lead 8-0 after 2 periods. Really has to be damage limitation as far as Milton Keynes are concerned now. 8-0, and I think that's an unfair comparison with the way these two teams played in the first period, but the second period most definitely did belong to the league and championship winners of last year. They were that much better. And Milton Keynes just unable to string 3 good periods together, which has been their problem. Normally they've tailed off in the third, but that was their lapse, and they'll be looking to at least get something creditable out of this game. straight away. The puck fired across the face of net from Doug McCarthy. That was too acute an angle. Meanwhile, Peter Smith at the other end sees his shot deflected up into the roof of the Blade Runner rink. And new netminder Alex Barnes is in there in place of Scott O'Connor, but have needed a extending step ladder to get anywhere near that one. Meanwhile, at the other end, Stevie Lyle, who replaced Jason Wood in the second period, so we've seen all 4 netminders from both teams now on the ice. And I'm sure that Alex Barnes knows precisely what's going to be heading his way in this period. Anthony Payne. And Simon Perkins, formerly of the Nottingham Panthers, winning in behind the play is Simon Howard. Waiting to set the play up for Cardiff is Peter Smith. Shannon Hope. The drum that's beating loudly and booming around this Blade Runner rink comes from the Cardiff Devils supporters. They've made their way up from South Wales. They'll be very pleased with what they see. They have the Sheffield Steelers to come at home the following night, but there's the first goal of the game for the Milton Keynes Kings. Their duck has been broken, and it's come from a rather unlikely source for an opening goal. Lee Powell is the scorer. Simon Perkins, I think, will get an assist on that, but he thought, well, might as well have a go. We haven't been too successful so far from any sort of range. Long way out, and Stevie Lyle just grasping at air. So, at long last, something for the home crowd to get a little bit excited about. It's going to be a very small fry comparison with what the Cardiff Devils fans have had to cheer and get excited about in this game. But it's something, and the shutout from the 2 Cardiff Devils netminders averted. The question is, can Milton Keynes at least go away with something from this game? Perhaps even winning the third period will be a little bit of consolation. To do that, they're going to have to work very hard because Cardiff aren't going to give them any quarter. Long range from Shannon Hope, just wide of the target. Ian Cooper's there, Ruggles is there, looking for the wraparound is Doug Smale. Tries once, tries twice. And Alex Barnes just gets his pads in between the shot and the goal. Must have had a long chat with his colleague Scott O'Connor in the interval to know what was going to go on. Lee Powell. And looked to be heading for the goal. Took a ricochet and a slight deflection off Stevie Lyle, I think, en route. That's McCarthy. Again needing support and can't find it this time. Ian Cooper clears the zone. And the Milton Keynes Kings fans finding their voice and finding their vocal range and finding a little bit of encouragement. Hazelhurst, who has battled well in this game. You can see why Milton Keynes wanted him back from Telford. Does it add a little bit of extra steel and fire and spirit in the team? Dale Lambert. Lambert through to McCarthy. Again, McCarthy hasn't got anybody close enough to give the puck to. Hazelhurst has moved there belatedly. Paddy Scott as well, but it's all far too late. Nicky Chin. Richard Townsend. Chin just misses out on that one. Who's arriving on right wing? Sort of expanse of ice with nobody covering at that stage. Townsend almost got a shot away. McEwen does! And really tests Alex Barnes, who just gets his pads to it and it plops up in the air. And that literally could have gone anywhere. This time the luck favouring the Milton Keynes Kings. Nicky Chin, drop pass. Nobody there. Now the Devils are caught up the ice. Can Dale Lambert do anything with it? Paddy Scott calling for it this side. Intercepted again. Howe. Scott hoping to get hold of it behind the back of the net. Doug McEwen, too wise for all that. Lofts it over the top of Doug McCarthy and sets the Devils on their way again. Townsend with Duma and Chin on that line. Causing problems. Nicky Chin trying to poke it in again. Nicky Chin stays out of the box. He is a very, very dangerous customer. He's got his penalty minutes down and got his conduct on the ice sorted out now. And certainly one of the best British players produced in this country over the last 5 or 6 years, and he'll only get better. Showing what the Cardiff Devils can do from any sort of range. Nicky Chin just hovering around and nearly got it. Just caught the edge of his stick as he was going to take the shot and give Alex Barnes a few more palpitations. McCarthy stopped short side by Stevie Lyle, and then bit of acrobatics going on with Jason Stone and Rick Strachan. Oh, a little bit of afters there between those two as Strachan takes his helmet off. Ian Cooper's lost his stick. Still the helmet on the ice, impeding a little bit of progress down the left wing as Milton Keynes trying to keep the puck in play. Shannon Hope across to Ruggles. Good stop made by Barnes. Still Ruggles, still a chance. Ian Cooper must go in for Ruggles, and it does. And that was far too much to ask Alec Barnes to keep that one up. No defensive cover around the face of net. That's the difference between these two teams. You'll always see 2, 3, sometimes even 4 red shirts around the front of the net when Stevie Lyle or Jason Wood's in trouble, but not enough white shirts there. And Ruggles scores his 3rd of the night, short-handed as well, with an assist by Ian Cooper. So Cardiff 9-1 in front, and they've levelled up this period at 1 apiece. Lambert, McCarthy, just not running for them at the moment. Chance for Cooper to feed McEwen. McEwen, ricochet off Mike Kindred. And here come Milton Keynes Kings again. Blistering his way down the ice was Paddy Scott, letting one go. Just testing out Stevie Lyle. Only 14 and still letting his trade. Still perhaps a bit for him to do before he's the complete goalie that John Lawless thinks he will become. Jason Wood, his colleague, reckons he will be the best goalie we've seen in this country. Well, on the other end, Alex Barnes having to do a lot of acrobatics in net. Through the centre goes Doug McEwen, playing at both ends of the ice, and he's perfectly capable of doing that as well. Perkins and McEwen. That's Peter Smith trying to walk it in, still bobbling around the Chris Keating. Home fans very appreciative. That's what we're talking about, getting a lot of bodies back, and there they start to appear in numbers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 in your frame there, just trying to hold off the players. And they did much better that time in keeping the goal from being under siege. And Keynes, to give them their credit, they're not giving up on this game. They're still trying very hard, and know that anything they can get out of this game that's positive, they can take for future encounters against the teams like Cardiff, Nottingham and Sheffield. Well, making a good stop. Anthony Payne. To the slot, and it's found its way through from the stick of Mike Kindred. And a bit like Lee Powell did earlier on in this period, from a similar position. He thought, right, here we go. Take aim and fire. And in fact, just scooped it really with the stick. And Stevie Lyle, not expecting that at all, caught off guard. And there it is, planted in the left-hand corner. 9-2. Well, that looks a little bit more respectable from a Milton Keynes position. A couple would make it not look quite such a whitewash as it looked like being at one stage, and I suppose to a certain extent still is. Perkins, Payne, there's a few smiles coming back to the faces of the home fans, something at last to cheer about and get a bit raucous about. Good crowd here tonight, nearly 2,000 people in the Blade Runner rink. McEwen, Howard trying to stop him in his tracks and nearly does. McEwen, help arriving in the centre from Simon Keating. Just lobbed up in the air, Peter Smith following through. Perkins, Lee Powell, scorer of the first goal for Milton Keynes. Gives it to Anthony Payne, and Payne had intended that pass to get someone in a white shirt, but not on this occasion. Cardiff positioning their players well. Francis, that is great play by Francis till eventually he's hauled down by Dale Lambert. Makes his way in brilliantly there. I thought he was going to throw. Oh, Doug McEwen lets a rip snorter go. I don't believe Alex Barnes would have seen that until it was lodged in the back of his net. That's what he's capable of. And it was gone before you could blink. He really did give that some clout. Love to see the speed gun on that one, because that was travelling, I can tell you. And double figures up for the Cardiff Devils, 4 minutes to go. Doug McEwen just lets it rip. Now what is there now for the Milton Keynes Kings? They know they've only got a few more minutes, another couple of goals and a bit of pride at stake. Top of it being a complete humiliation. Centre ice, neutral ice Rick Strachan, who playing one of his final games for the Milton Keynes Kings before he takes to the bench to coach and have a bit of overview of what is happening. Paddy Scott in great position and scores for the Milton Keynes Kings, and the siren goes off for only the third time this evening, because with just under 3 minutes to go, Paddy Scott's done what he's been trying to do all night without success, finding the back of the net, and the match of the day theme rings out around the Blade Runner rink. Assists also for Doug McCarthy and Simon Howard, and that was a well-taken goal. A move they've tried many times in this game without success, finally pays off, and Paddy Scott adds to his very impressive tally of points in the league so far. Will keep him up there in the top 3 scorers in the Premier Division. Only the 1 goal though. We're used to scoring a few goals and a few assists in the game, even in games that not playing particularly well in. Family sport ice hockey with people of all ages. Ian Cooper. Chance for him. Chance now for Francis for a wraparound. Thwarted by Kindred. Bodies going flying everywhere. And it's a good job somebody kept their eye on the puck, because nobody really had much of a clue where that was going. Ian Cooper thought he had a good chance to move in. Scottska tries luck again. Lee Powell. Lee Powell still battling on. He's had a good game for the Milton Keynes Kings, whereas some might look back at their performance and give themselves perhaps a C- or a D+ at most. He's been the thick of the action. Another long-range effort. That's where most of the good news has come from Milton Keynes' point of view. Lovely work by Mike Kindred. Here's Powell. Just again testing out without quite so much venom this time. Kindred, and that's the end of the game. A game the Devils are controlled throughout, and they've beaten the Milton Keynes Kings by 10 goals to 3.
A notable double then for the Devils, exposing the gulf between the top and bottom of the Premier Division at the moment. One key factor in the Devils' success has been their net minding, and that of Jason Wood sharing duties with teenage prodigy Steve Lyle. Wood says that they take every team on their merit.
I think you've got to go into every game expecting a hard game, otherwise you're going to get beaten. We thought they'd be a lot stronger than what they were. I think we got a few quick goals on them, and that kind of knocked them back a bit, and they slowed up. And you know, when you get a quick goal scored on you, it doesn't do the team's confidence any good, and that's what we did.
Cardiff are a strong side, you know, and it's always tough to compete against a side which is playing 3 lines, you know. Also, you know, like, I mean, we are, you know, with the departure of Trent, you know, like, we're missing an import, and, you know, like, we've got 2 new guys coming on Thursday, you know, so, I mean, we're missing a bit of depth in our squad just now, you know, and you know, I feel with these 2 new guys coming, you know, we'll still be able to pull off some good results.
Third period and 8 scoreless minutes before Palmer was ready to gobble up his 3rd of the night and Racers' 9th. Watch out for low-flying sticks from the goalie. Who wants the puck could be the cry here. Nobody in a blue shirt apparently, so Horansky says it's mine and leaves Mike Ware the honour of polishing off this move. Everyone it seemed wanted to get in on the act, however, experienced or otherwise. Step forward another fledgling player, David Park, who also shows when given the opportunity how it could and should be done. Two in a row on the Mike Ware show to finish things off for us, and a Pirates team now devoid of stuffing, it seems. Chris Palmer helps out on the first occasion. Ware in the perfect position. And Dean Emberston again makes himself available in several different positions on the ice to secure lucky number 13. Tony Hand back on the blue line helps to make sure. Ware makes Simon Wren's dismal night complete with that shot from close range. It was all one-way traffic in Edinburgh. The home crowd certainly enjoyed it. And the final score was the Edinburgh Racers 13, the Peterborough Pirates 3.
To round off this week's programme, a look at the results and league tables. Two midweek games saw Cardiff return from Europe in impressive form, beating Milton Keynes at home. And the West Midlands battle went Telford Tigers' way to confirm their position at the top. On to Saturday's action and some tight entertaining games in the Premier Division, especially at Murrayfield, where the Racers and the Beavers were involved in a ding-dong battle. Tony Hand with 4+2 proved to be the difference for Edinburgh. At the Hull Ice Arena, there were 3 periods which all finished 2-1. Scott Young, restored to the Hawks team after suspension, scored 2 goals, as did Darren Durdle for the Wasps, but it wasn't quite enough. And at Hillheads, Great Britain international David Longstaff produced his best performance of the season with 4 goals and 5 assists against the plucky Bees team who won the 3rd period. In Division 1, signs that Guildford may be getting their act together as they played 60 minutes of good hockey to beat Solihull. A brace each for Pellini and Friesen, providing Flames with a much-needed tonic. Lee Valley Lions broke their 14-game losing streak, stretching back to the 18th of September, with a 5-all tie against Medway. Geordie-born Canadian Lee Saunders impressive for Lions with 2 goals. And Paisley again upset the form books by overturning Teesside in their own rink. Bombers missing some key players, foiled in the 3rd period as the Pirates' Russian imports took control. On Sunday, the Hawks achieved a rare double success on a weekend against the struggling Bracknell. Scott Morrison finding his goal-scoring touch, again with 4+3. The Sheffield Steelers, who saw their 100% record go at Nottingham the previous night, fell victim to more penalty problems, which Cardiff capitalised on. Nicky Chin and Claude Dumas both hit 4 for the Devils. And in a low-scoring match at Durham, Wasps kept Panthers scoreless for nearly 25 minutes before player coach Mike Blaisdell scored 2 power play goals, which got them going. In Division 1, a new lease of life is sweeping East London as Lee Valley Lions beat neighbours Romford Raiders. Paisley showed that the previous night's victory over Teesside was no fluke as they overturned Trafford. Danus Bauber, their star man, with 4+3. And talking of the Bombers, they let it slip again, Solihull winning the 2nd period 5-1 to take both points. The Premier Division table shows Panthers firmly establishing themselves at the top, with Fife now their nearest threat. But watch out for the Devils. Division 1, and no change in the top 3, all set for a Tigers-Jets showdown. Paisley make good progress into 5th place. Meanwhile, at the bottom, Guildford starting to make progress as Dumfries falter, Lee Valley and Romford still tailed off. Next week, 3 of the top 4 sides in action, including the top of the table clash between Nottingham and Fife. Until then, goodbye for now.
The time may tick away, but pictures from the past remain firmly in the mind. Classic battles and knockouts that made history. Boxers that through time became immortalised by their punch power. Sometimes down, but not always out. See how these men became legends in their sport. Reminisce and take a trip with Time Tunnel, Sunday at 10 on Wire TV.
Don't miss the chance to see top racers hit full throttle and burn rubber in the checkered flag, Monday 9:30 on Wire TV. Action. With a short, sharp thrust, drag racing speeds off on Wire TV. It doesn't matter what the car looks like, the aim is the same. To go full throttle over a short runway, accelerating to over 250 miles per hour. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but there's never a dull moment. Get ready to watch the 1994 NHRA drag racing, Sunday at 9 on Wire TV. Sportswire, could someone sort out the menu for tomorrow night for me, please? OK, I've got the information here. All right, here we go. Right, starting off at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Nicky Hall, of course. Italian football starts off. Napoli versus Fiorentina is the main game. And Luther Blissett is the special guest. Got that, Luther Blissett? Excellent. 8 o'clock, Sports World. Round up in the world of sport on Sports World at 8 o'clock. Good. 8:30 Brady Bunch. Karen Brady's guests tonight are Football Wives, including Shelley Webb in there. Lovely, got that down. And then 9 o'clock, 2 hours of boxing, top contenders from the Whitchurch Sports Centre in Bristol. So that's tomorrow night. Got all that done? Can you do that for me? Brilliant news. Thanks very much indeed. Sorry I couldn't be there, you know, pressure of work and all that business. See you later. Right now, where's the nearest pub? I'm with him.